Chapter 662. That incomplete scroll was made of sheepskin. It was old and covered in dust. With Lin Chen's spiritual power, he immediately sensed its extraordinariness. When the system screen popped up, his expression became even more solemn. The 9 calamities of creation was already a top-grade purple-tier mental cultivation technique. If this was the advanced version of this mental cultivation technique, wouldn't it be an orange-tier mental cultivation technique? A top-grade purple-tier mental cultivation technique was already unparalleled in the 9 states, not to mention a top-grade one. Lin Chen's 9 calamities of creation was already the strongest mental cultivation technique in the 9 states. An orange-tier mental cultivation technique was simply unimaginable. It was said that it was a legendary level that even saints could not touch. Grabbing the sheepskin scroll, Lin Chen's heart trembled slightly. The system's examination is complete. This mental cultivation technique is the Tai Fu Tian technique. It is severely damaged and unable to appraise its specific grade and cultivation. Host, please collect the complete mental cultivation technique. The system's appraisal made Lin Chen's mouth twitch. Damn it, an orange-tier mental cultivation technique was indeed not that easy to obtain. However, at least this gave Lin Chen a clue. This incomplete mental cultivation technique was found in the Dean's inheritance. As long as he revived the Dean, he might be able to find out its origin. Chaos 5 Spirits, 9 Calamities of Creation, Tai Fu Tian Technique. From chaos to creation, from the 5 spirits to the 9 calamities, 9 by 9 to 1, Tai Fu Tian. These 3 mental cultivation techniques made Lin Chen feel that there was a subtle and mysterious relationship between them. Or rather, it was more like the evolution of an era in the universe. Other than that, the crystal ball also contained many top-grade treasures, a large number of elixirs, 5 types of purple-tier cultivation techniques, 2 high-level purple-tier cultivation techniques, and a golden battle armor. The words Golden Hell, Flying Dragon were engraved on it. It was actually a top-grade, 7th-tier battle armor. And the thing that attracted Lin Chen's attention the most was a piece of red satin. With Lin Chen's Golden Eyes Twin Realm, he actually could not see what was so special about this piece of red satin. Anything that can be placed here is not ordinary. Looks like I can only find out after reviving the Dean. Lin Chen exited the crystal ball. With a single thought, he transferred everything inside the crystal ball into his storage ring. Shen Linyan walked to Lin Chen's side and said with a solemn expression, Lin Chen, if you want to revive the Dean, you are not allowed to enter the demon eye of the firmament tower before you become a 9th-level combat emperor. You have to become invincible in the 9 continents under the Saint Realm, because that is an area that even I cannot enter. Lin Chen raised his eyebrows. So terrifying? He was aware of Shen Linyan's strength. She was one of the top experts in the 9 prefectures. She could easily take on any ancestor of a fake god family. Yet, she couldn't break in? You want to enter the demon eye of Firmament Tower? Suddenly, the mysterious man beside him asked curiously. There was a slight fluctuation in his cold voice. Without waiting for Lin Chen's reply, she walked to Lin Chen's side, grabbed Lin Chen's palm, and lightly tapped it with her jade finger. Her hands were very cold, like a piece of cold jade. With a flash of purplish-black light, a mark was planted in Lin Chen's palm. This demon mark can prevent the aura of the demon race from sensing you. It can also absorb a certain amount of the demon race's pressure. The mysterious man spoke. Lin Chen was surprised. Why are you helping me? Because of interest. If you don't want it, I could take it back. No, I want it. Lin Chen quickly withdrew his hand. With the other party's strength, she could decide his life and death in a single breath. Even if she wanted to play some tricks, Lin Chen could only follow along. Moreover, this demon mark was very important to him. You're Lin Chen, right? I will come and find you again. The mysterious man's cold voice actually had a trace of smile. She turned around and disappeared from the prison. She left? Byron was surprised. Lin Chen shook his head. I don't know. I have only seen her 3 times. Every time, she came and went without a trace. The first time they met was during the Heavenly Spirit list. She met Lin Shan by chance and was only slightly interested in him. The second time they met, she was followed from the Sky Pagoda. When she thought that Lin Shan's talent was not bad, she found out that it had only reached the Combat Emperor realm by activating the God Slayer innate skill. The third time they met, Lin Shan's strength and potential made her decide to make Lin Shan her right-hand man. She tried to take him away by force, but failed. Now, only a demon mark was left. Suddenly, the spatial jade strip on her waist flickered. Shen Lianyun's eyes suddenly focused. The emergency jade strip has reacted. There is a situation outside. Shen Lianyun's figure flashed and disappeared from the prison. Lin Shan followed closely behind and left with Bai Ruoyan. What he didn't notice was that when he left under the prison, there were two dots of light that flashed past the dark red hole. It was like a pair of eyes that stared at Lin Shan and the others. In the main hall of the Sky Island. Everyone, we don't have any bad intentions. We are only here to find Lin Shan. A group of extraordinary figures arrived. There were 9 of them. There were men and women, old and young. Everyone in the main hall had a serious expression on their faces. The pressure these people gave off was not inferior to the vice principal Shen Lianyun. The experts of the Alliance and the Academy in the main hall were on high alert. When Shen Lianyun and Bai Ruoyan entered the main hall, Lin Shan stood behind the 9 people and said with a smile, "Oh, why are you all here to find me?" The white-clothed young master in the front laughed and said with a sincere tone, "Prince Lin Shan is indeed here. I admire you for being able to fight 6 late-stage, 9th heaven, immortal realm experts alone and still be able to escape unscathed." The purple-dressed beauty at the side said seriously, "We are from the Sacred Boundary. We are here to invite Prince Lin Shan to return to the Sacred Boundary with us and join our sect." The other party's words were shocking. The expressions of all the experts in the main hall changed. The Sacred Boundary. It was a world that only existed in the legends of the land of the 9 states. It was said that only the Saint Realm experts could leave the land of the 9 states and sense the existence of the Sacred Boundary. Then, they could absorb the holy energy of heaven and earth to create the teleportation stone of the Sacred Boundary. These 9 people came here for Lin Shan. How big of an honor did they have? No one in the history of the land of the 9 states could have done this. Shen Lianyun was thoughtful. It wasn't strange. When Lin Shan was crowned as an emperor, she could sense it even though she was in the spiritual state, not to mention the vast Sacred Boundary. They must know more about Lin Shan's potential than she did. "Everyone, please come in." When the experts of the Academy warmly invited the messengers of the Sacred Boundary into the main hall as guests, the other people arrogantly stepped into the main hall. "Wait." Lin Shan raised his hand and questioned with a deep look in his eyes. "Since you all came from the Sacred Boundary, didn't you receive any orders from your superiors? For example, helping the land of the 9 states to get rid of the false god's control?" Hearing this, the messengers of the Sacred Boundary looked at each other and smiled bitterly. They didn't dare to offend the criminals of the sacred prison. Even the factions behind them were quite wary of them. Seeing the change in their expressions, Lin Shan's expression was cold. "If that's the case, please return. I have no interest in your invitation. I may not be some great hero, but I won't go to some saint's world with you at a time like this. I'm just a coward. If we're not on the same side, there's nothing for us to talk about," Lin Feng said with a smile. Boom! Hearing this, the 2 red-haired men were furious and sneered. "Who do you think you are, mortal? How dare you be so shameless?" Many young geniuses of the Red Flame Palace wanted to be apprenticed, but failed. "I'm giving you face by coming down to welcome you. Why are you being so arrogant?" Clang! Just as the 2 of them finished speaking, an astonishing dragon's roar pierced through the clouds. Lin Shan grabbed the saber case with one hand and opened the lid of the saber case. The azure saber inside was ready to be unsheathed at any moment, causing everyone's pupils to tremble in shock. It was the 8th grade saber. F***CK your grandma. Try saying a few more words? How dare you show off in front of me? I'll chop you up and feed you to the dogs today. The elders and mentors of the Heavenly Song Academy were even more frightened and broke out in cold sweat. He wants to draw his saber just because of a disagreement? My goodness, this is a powerhouse from the sacred boundary. This handsome Lin Shun is really fearless. He dares to poke holes in the sky at any time. Chapter 663. Indeed, even if Lin Shun used the Azure Moon, he would not be a match for any of the 9 of them. The late-stage 9th layer from the sacred boundary might be even more difficult to deal with than the ancestor of the fake god family. However, Lin Shun was someone who would rather break than bend. Not to mention the other emissaries. Those 2 were completely arrogant. Give you face. Isn't that a slap to my face? You motherf ***. The 2 red-haired men were furious. Before they could say anything, Lin Shun had already scolded them. Motherf ***. Motherf ***. Come out and try if you don't like it. Are the people from the sacred boundary that awesome? Both of them have a head on their shoulders. You're like a pig with a scallion stuck in your pig's nose. Do you want me to invite you in for tea and barbecue? Then I'll find you a few girls and provide you with healthcare services? What the F***ck are you dreaming about? There's so much ***T out there. Why don't you go eat it? Lin Shun sneered. Since they wanted to bluff, then he would bluff until the end. He still had Shen Lianyun and Bai Ruoyan on his side. They might not be pushovers. The other 7 emissaries from the sacred boundary twitched their mouths. What a ruthless person. Even in the sacred boundary, this kid was also a ruthless person. He wanted to fight with his life at the slightest disagreement. Who could stand that? The people from the Academy and the Alliance were even more frightened. They were sweating profusely. This was an emissary from the sacred boundary. Who would dare to offend him? Just this name alone was enough to make any force in the 9 prefectures want to curry favor with him. This Lord Shun, on the other hand, drew his sword as soon as they met. There was no room for negotiation. Lin Shun, on the other hand, was very clear. Those who were not from the 9 prefectures had different intentions. Since they could not stand together and face difficulties, even if they joined a sect, there would be a day when they would be betrayed. Since that was the case, why not take a stand? Good, very good. You win. Liao Sha, let's go. The crimson-haired man sneered gloomily, and then he flicked his sleeve and left with his companions. They knew that if Lin Shun had the same strength as when he fought against the experts of the fake god families in the Divine Land, they would have to pay a heavy price even if they could defeat Lin Shun. Moreover, there was another late 9th-level combat emperor. Wait. Suddenly, Lin Shen's voice sounded again. The 2 red-haired men stiffened in the air, and soon after, they revealed arrogant and proud smiles. Fine. It turned out that he was just putting on airs, and in the end, he was just going to wag his tail and beg for pity. Even the 7 envoys who had changed their opinion of Lin Chen couldn't help but frown. Could it be that this brat was really just putting on an act? What? Prodigy Lin, have you changed your mind? When the red-haired man turned around proudly, Lin Shun patted their shoulders. Consumed 20,000 talent points. Successfully activated the divine stealing omen. Received 850,000 talent points, 20,000 intermediate fire energy points. The high attribute points made Lin Shun raise his eyebrows. He then waved his hand and said impatiently, "Okay, get lost, get lost." Huh? The 2 of them were dumbfounded. What's going on? Why did you ask us to leave, to wait, and to get lost? What kind of people do you think we are? They'd gone too far. The other red-haired young man's eyes were piercingly cold. Lin Shun immediately turned around, patted the saber box, and raised his eyebrows, as if he was hinting at the other party. The red-haired man suppressed his anger and stretched out his hand to stop his companion. He was so angry that he laughed. Good, good. Lin Shun, you're the most arrogant mortal I have ever seen. I hope you can still live and reach the sacred boundary. Otherwise, it will be too boring. Then, the 2 of them turned around and left. Suddenly, Lin Shen's voice came from behind them. Don't worry. If I can go to the sacred boundary one day, I will be able to beat the 2 of you. The 2 of them swayed. They were so angry that they wanted to turn around and beat this kid up. If you're willing to join our camp and fight against the fake god with me, I will seriously consider joining your sect. How about it? Lin Chen smiled and looked at the remaining 7 sacred boundary emissaries. They looked at each other with bitter smiles. Lin Chen already knew their answer from their eyes. Sir Lin Chen, our sect has orders that we cannot interfere with the affairs of the 9 states, especially those opponents you are facing. Apart from this condition, we will try our best to satisfy your other conditions. The white-clothed young man in the lead cupped his fists sincerely and helplessly. Lin Chen smiled and shook his head as he walked over. He patted the shoulders of the 7 emissaries of the sacred boundary. Sigh. In that case, we have nothing else to talk about. Take care, everyone. I won't be sending you off. Consumed 120,000 talent points. God's Stealing Omen has been successfully activated. Obtained 800,000 Heaven's Path points, 2,000 blank attribute points, 15,000 water attribute points, 18,500 gold attribute points, 17,655 dark attribute points, 650,000 rune energy points, 500,000 cultivation technique essence points. Lin Chen's God's Stealing Omen had stolen extremely good attribute points from the 7 emissaries of the sacred boundary. It seems like we have made a wasted trip. One of the white-haired old men stroked his beard and smiled. He did not force the issue and left very quickly. Then, I can only wish Prince Lin Chen success. I admire young master's boldness. If we can meet at the sacred boundary, it will definitely be a different scene. The purple-robed woman bowed and left decisively. Everyone said their goodbyes one by one, feeling very regretful. They had prepared so many excuses and preparations, but they did not expect that Lin Chen's words would leave them without a choice. This young man's position was so firm that it made them tremble. Live and die together with the 9 prefectures. Lin Chen did not force the issue. He could roughly guess why the emissaries of the sacred boundary did not dare to provoke these fake gods. Everyone present felt regretful and helpless. The emissaries of the sacred boundary had given them a glimmer of hope. They did not expect that they would rather give up on Lin Chen than to become enemies with the fake gods. I can't place my hopes on others. I can only rely on myself. Lin Chen exhaled. His eyes became sharp and serious. His cultivation was now at the 5th level combat emperor, and his actual combat strength was around the 8th level combat emperor intermediate stage. However, with the help of the God Slayer talent, he had completely overthrown all the fake god families. If the enemy were to take action again, it would exceed the scale of the previous operation. At that time, if he did not have a trump card stronger than the God Slayer talent, it would be a real dead end. It was urgent to become stronger. Let the Dean wake up first, then we still have a chance. Lin Chen looked at the direction of the Divine Land's firmament tower. Just as he was about to take action, 2 streams of light suddenly descended from the void. It was the patriarch of the Yin family and the ancestor of the Yin family. Lin Chen, this is bad. Something happened to Qianyan. The ancestor of the Yin family's first sentence made Lin Chen's eyes suddenly focus. Yin Qianyan? Wasn't she a fortune teller? She could foresee ominous signs in advance. How could something happen to her? The Ming State and the Dragon Clan had a great battle. A large number of young fortune tellers were abducted, and Qianyun was among them. The patriarch of the Yin family briefly told the whole story. On the day of the battle between Lin Shun and the fake god families, the Barren State sent out 7 dragon clans to lead experts to the Divine Divination Conference. On that day, a great battle was set off in the Ming State that was no less shocking than the battle between Lin Shun and the fake god families. Many dragon clans abducted a large number of fortune tellers, and Yin Qianyun was among them. What was more terrifying was that Yin Qianyun was directly taken in by the number 1 genius of the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon Clan. When she was abducted, he even threatened to take her as his concubine. Lin Chen's eyebrows twitched. There was such a thing? There must be a reason for this abnormality. It seemed that the 9 states had begun to become turbulent. The Dragon Clan is very active. It seems that it is time for me, Long Chun Bo, to make my debut in the Barren State. Chapter 664. Lin Shun, let's go as well. Qian Yun is the only descendant of the Yin family, and the only one in the Yin family who can cultivate the arithmetic of our ancestors. We must bring her back. The anxious Yin family's ancestor said anxiously. Lin Shun raised his hand and refused. No, all of you stay in the spiritual state. There are still many masters in the fake god families hiding in the 9 states, and no one knows when they will attack. The more forces we have in the spiritual state, the better. Plus, I'm going to save someone, not start a full-scale war. I won't be able to do anything with you guys. Hearing Lin Chen's words, the Yin family's ancestor could only give up. The Yin family master grabbed Lin Chen's arm and said solemnly, Lin Shun, I'll leave Yin to you. Don't worry, I'll do my best to bring her back. Lin Shun gave a thumbs up. Beside him, Bai Ruoyan stood with a smile on her face. Lin Shun could only say helplessly, Okay, Sister Ruoyan will come with me this time. Lin Shun, be careful. Ning Qingxian stepped forward and held Lin Shen's hand worriedly. Her green eyes flashed with hope as she chuckled. Don't worry, even the 6 fake god families can't stop me. I can't say that I can destroy the dragon race of the Barren State, but I can save someone. In terms of friendship, Yin Xinyan could be considered one of Lin Chen's best friends. In terms of favors, Lin Chen still owed her a favor. If she had not contacted Luo Qingyu in advance and asked Luo Wei to bring the news to the spirit state, Lin Chen might not have been able to rush to the divine continent to save Ning Qingxian. Lin Chen turned around and looked into Shun Lianyan's eyes. The latter nodded and said, Don't worry, I'll take care of the alliance myself. You can do whatever you want. Then I'll have to trouble you, Vice Principal. Everyone, time waits for no one. I'll go first. Lin Chun leaped into the air. The azure dragon beside him spread its purple phoenix wings and flew up. Lin Chun and Bai Ruoyan rode on the dragon and flew up. This little guy has created miracles time and time again. I hope he can succeed this time as well. Staring at Lin Chen's back, Xing Zhan sighed. Shun Lianyun revealed a rare smile. There has to be someone who can dictate the course of history. There has to be someone who can overturn the hundreds of thousands of years of blank history of the 9 provinces. Right now, I'm more and more convinced that that person will definitely be Lin Chun. In the spiritual state, 7 streams of light streaked across the sky. They were the 7 emissaries from the sacred boundary. Are we going to return empty-handed? Sigh. To think that I was prepared. Who would have thought that I would be forced out before I even opened my mouth? The emissaries were conversing via voice transmission. The few of you are quite talented. It's just that you lack experience. The white-haired old man spoke, and everyone looked at him. This kid is magnanimous and decisive. However, he values friendship and righteousness. The fact that he dared to enter the godly land alone is enough to prove this point. Such a person can be persuaded by reason, but not cowed by force. Therefore, we can start by working with those around him. The white-haired old man's words left them completely confused. Please enlighten us, Silver Elder. The sexy red-robed beauty frowned in puzzlement. To put it simply, we can rope in the people around him. Since this kid values friendship and righteousness, he must value the people around him. If we touch his friends, we will make a great enemy for our faction. But what if we do the opposite? The white-haired old man stroked his beard and smiled. The emissary's eyes lit up. Right? Even if they couldn't rope in Lin Shan to go to the sacred boundary, they could rope in Lin Chen's friends and family. If Lin Chan died in 9 states, they would at most lose some energy and the cost of descending to the lower realm. However, if Lin Chun successfully stepped in the sacred boundary, he would definitely become a new influential figure. By then, even if they couldn't rope him into their faction, they would be able to befriend a genius like him on the account of his friends and family. Thank you for your advice, Silver Elder. That's great. Let's hurry and search for Lin Chen's background. We'll bring all the people who are close to him to the sacred boundary and train them with all our might. Brother Lin Chun, take this with you. When you need it, send me a wisp of battle aura and I'll appear. While flying, Bai Ruoyan passed a snow-white jade slip to Lin Chun. fiery light curled up around it. She was actually able to escape into this jade slip. Lin Shan couldn't help but marvel at the power of the eternal sacred fire. It could even carry a holy fire level with it. Bairuoyan could enter at any time. Moreover, with the eternal sacred fire, she could constantly refine the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to refine her battle aura and life wheel. It was equivalent to being in the most efficient cultivation state at all times. With such a cultivation speed, Bairuoyan would probably be able to break through to the later stage of 9th level combat emperor in a few years. She would be the envy of all 9th level combat emperors. This is an opportunity one can't envy. Lin Shan sighed and put away the snow-white jade slip. Only he and his azure dragon were left in the void. With a thought, Lin Shan absorbed the azure dragon into his body. System, activate the super-dimensional teleportation talent. I want to head to Space 3. The teleportation distance is extremely far this time. 22 million talent points will be consumed, and there will be a cooldown period of 10 days. Are you sure you want to teleport? Space 3 was the location where Long Kuan and Lin Chun had fled from the Hun family headquarters to the barren state. Lin Chun didn't change this location. He didn't expect it to come in handy now. Most importantly, he had upgraded super-dimensional teleportation to a purple talent. That was why he could teleport over such a long distance. If it was a blue talent, he could only teleport across the distance of 2 states at most. However, the distance between the spiritual state and the barren state was 6 states. Yes, swoosh. A spatial light beam broke through the top of his head. Lin Chun turned into a stream of light and disappeared. When he reappeared, he had already arrived at the western barren district of the barren state. The barren state was divided into 4 barren districts. Each district was ruled by a different powerful beast race. However, only the central district was ruled by the top 10 dragon tribes. As expected of the barren state, what intense chi and blood energy! Lin Shan took a deep breath and turned into a ray of moonlight, plunging into the depths. 2 days later, in the central district. Recently, the dragon tribe was having a feast. Hundreds of tribes cheered, and many powerful beasts gathered in the central district. The dragon tribe held an indiscriminate selection competition to ensure that all the powerful beings in the dragon tribe were treated fairly. The winners of the challenges would receive massive rewards. The top 5 could even enter the Saint Dragon blood pool to purify their bloodline and greatly increase their strength and potential. Moreover, 10 days after the competition, the number 1 genius of the Red Lotus Fire Dragon tribe had a joyous occasion. He had successfully obtained a beautiful concubine. These 2 joyous occasions attracted many powerful beings of the beast tribes to watch. In the central area, behind a majestic sacred mountain, there was a vast battleground that was as vast as a plain. Many high-level beasts of different colors sat around the battleground. The ferocious aura that only belonged to the beasts permeated the air. Excited roars reverberated throughout the venue. This was a competition between berserk beasts. Just the spectating atmosphere alone was dozens of times more intense than that of humans. Everywhere was filled with killing intent and excitement. A 7th-level demonic flame eagle sat at the registration area. It had the body of a human and the head of an eagle. At this moment, a green-robed young man squeezed into the crowd, stepped into the registration area. He had 2 azure dragon horns on his head, and half of his face was still that of an azure dragon mask. The demonic flame eagle asked indifferently without raising its head. Race, origin, name? The green-robed young man spoke in a low roar and obscure human language. Race, 10,000-year profound azure dragon. Origin, Northern Barren District. Name, Long Chenhua. Chapter 665. When the green-robed young man announced the name 10,000-year profound azure dragon, he attracted many surprised gazes. This was one of the top 10 dragon clans that ruled the central region of the barren state. Although it was ranked last, it was still stronger than most of the other dragon clans. How could there be a 10,000-year profound azure dragon from the northern Barren State? The demonic flame eagle elder raised his head to look at the green-robed young man and nodded seriously. Yes, it really is a 10,000-year profound azure dragon and a level 7 savage beast. It seems to be very young, a dark horse. Go in. The elder gave the green-robed young man a competition token and walked into the field with his head held high. This Lin Shun was naturally Lin Shun, who had sneaked into the central region of the Barren State. A day ago, he had used the Azure Dragon Shadow to sneak into the central region of the Barren State. Following that, Lin Shun used the myriad layered fire web art to seal all of his cultivation. Furthermore, he used the Azure Dragon Possession to transform into a genuine manifold, profound Azure Dragon. Even those old ancestors of the dragon race who had lived for hundreds of thousands of years would not be able to see through Lin Chen's true strength. This was because the Azure Dragon and Lin Shun were one and the same. Unless Lin Shun took the initiative to reveal his battle chi or circulate his heart sutra, there would be no flaws. Lin Shun, who had turned into a profound Azure Dragon, paid a small price to obtain information about the Heavenly Dragon Clan and a large number of fortune tellers. It was said that after those fortune tellers were brought to the central region, they were taken over by the higher-ups of the Dragon Clan. Yin Xinyun's information was more thorough. According to Lin Shen's investigation, Yin Xinyun didn't surrender after she was captured. Instead, she used the absolute space ring left behind by her clan. This item was made for a 9th-layer combat emperor and had absolute defensive power. If an expert of the same level attacked it, even if they could break it, the person inside the absolute space would die. Absolute space has a time limit. Once the time limit is over, it will gradually disintegrate. I'm afraid that the Red Lotus Fire Dragon tribe has also seen through this secret. That's why they decided to announce the end of the competition 10 days later to hold the wedding banquet for the number 1 genius of the Red Lotus Fire Dragon tribe. Lin Shen casually found a seat and sat down. The corners of his mouth lifted slightly. This had actually given him a chance. If someone of unknown origin were to pay a visit and attend the wedding banquet, it would be very abrupt and would easily arouse the vigilance of many experts. However, it would be completely different if he participated in the competition as the winner. He could even use this opportunity to get close to the Red Lotus Flame Dragon clan and dispel their doubts. Moreover, Lin Shun was very interested in the Sacred Dragon Pond that the top 5 would receive. The Sacred Dragon Pond was the legacy of the 10 great dragon civilizations. It was left behind by the Sacred Dragon of the Primordial Age. It could purify one's bloodline and transform one's life level. Lin Shen's Azure Dragon bloodline and Winged Dragon bloodline were worth hundreds of thousands of points. With enough resources and opportunities, they could grow to the pinnacle of the 7th rank. But above that was the legendary rank 8 Holy Beast. Lin Shen's current bloodline attribute value was not enough to support his Azure Dragon to become a rank 8 Holy Dragon. Perhaps this Sacred Dragon Pond would be an opportunity for his Azure Dragon. Kid, where are you from? Why haven't I seen you before? Are you also here to participate in the competition? A thick green python poked its head out and asked Lin Shun. It was a pinnacle rank 6 feral beast. F***CK off. Is it your turn to ask about my background? A disdainful growl came from Lin Chen's throat. The python immediately shrank back and kept quiet out of fear. This guy was actually a rank 7 feral beast? Pretty arrogant. I hope I don't see you later and swallow you whole. The rank 7 red Lotus Flame Dragon sitting next to him sneered. Lin Shun directly gave him the middle finger. Low rank 7 trash. To deal with trash like you, I, Long Chimbua, only need 1 punch. The world of feral beasts was completely different from that of humans. The Barren State's culture and etiquette were less complicated. There was only the law of the jungle. Here, the strong would always be the most arrogant and domineering one. If Lin Shun did not say anything, he might be suspected by the feral beasts. He was going to be arrogant all the way. With his personality, he was surprisingly in line with the Barren State's atmosphere. In an instant, Several rank 7 feral beasts battle intense surged. Their baleful auras overflowed and locked onto Lin Chun. Look at you. Have you never seen a handsome dragon before? In a bit, I'll beat you all up. Lin Chun patted his dragon horn, extremely smug. Oh, brother, you only ate a few dishes last night, and you're already so drunk. Is this brat drunk? Ha ha, that's a mid-rank 7 devil flame dragon. Who's going to beat who up? The feral beasts on the side of the audience erupted in boorish laughter. The devil flame dragon, whose fur was like fire, laughed sinisterly. I hope your bones are as hard as your mouth later. Lin Chun disdainfully sneered. Sorry, every part of my body is harder than yours. Many feral beasts roared provocatively at Lin Chun. He scolded them all back, not showing any fear. At the same time, he secretly opened the system. Next, Lin Chun opened the system. Heavenly Path Possession System, version 5. 0. Host. Lin Chun Cultivation. Mid-rank 5 Battle Emperor Realm. Mid-rank Battle Chi Essence. 714. 83 million points. Limit Power. 5 million Dragon Power, Divine Force. 6,500,000. Mid-rank Chi and Blood. 3,385 million points. Mid-rank Spiritual Power. 54,560 points. Initial Stage Ascension Realm. Mid-rank Skill Essence. 15. 66 million points. Mid-rank Rune Energy. 19. 55 million points. Heavenly Path Points. 18. 33 million points. Talent Points. 19. 95 million points. Mid-rank Elemental Energy. 200,000 points for Fire. 170,000 points for Earth. 180,000 points for Wood. 200,000 points for Metal. 220,000 points for Water. 160,000 points for Lightning. 170,000 points for Wind. 120,000 points for Light. 140,000 points for Dark. Skills Status Column, Open. Bloodline Status Column, Open. Passive Talents. Green Rank. Reinforced Iron Bones 100%. Green Rank. Dual Cultivation Acacia. Blue Rank. Health Increase 200%. Blue Rank. Divine Force 100%. Blue Rank. Emperor Slayer. Active Talents. Blue Rank. Stealing Omen. Blue Rank. Fatal Bloodlust. Purple Rank. Superdimensional Teleportation. Purple Rank. Final Moment. Purple Rank. Ultimate Return. Purple Rank 1 time. Super Full Counter. Purple Rank 1 time. Sovereign's Descent. Orange Rank 1 time. God Slayer. Fragment 1/3. Quasi-Orange Rank 1 time. Absolute Life and Death. Orange Rank 1 time. Sun God. Fragment 1/3. Special Runes. Slow Level 5. Penetration Level 5. Recharge Level 5. Phantom Level 5. Heavenly Invisibility Level 5. Innate Skill Combination. Fatal Bloodthirst. Superdimensional Teleportation. Sovereign's Descent. Absolute Life and Death. Blank Attribute Points. 28,560 points can be converted to any attribute points at will. Treasures Points. System. Merge all the martial arts I have with me. This time, Lin Chun had accumulated enough skills. He had killed a large number of combat emperors from the fake god family, and all the undamaged storage rings had been taken away by him. In addition, he had obtained the inheritance of the Dean's crystal ball. Most importantly, he had killed 2 emissaries from the sacred boundary. The storage rings in his hands were filled with endless treasures. Lin Chun was filled with anticipation. He wondered what kind of skills he would get this time. Chapter 666. I didn't expect that even the emissaries from the sacred boundary don't have a top-level purple tier technique. Not even a superior level purple tier technique. Looks like this level is a rare thing, even in the sacred boundary. I wonder what level the incomplete Tai Sky concealing technique in the Dean's legacy is. Lin Chun's mind wandered for a moment before he immediately confirmed and activated the fusion function. Boom! Ding! The system's furnace flashed, and a brand new technique appeared. Lin Chun was excited. Although he didn't use any technique essence this time, he had fused so many techniques, including the extremely rare superior level purple tier mental cultivation technique. At the very least, it should be a superior level purple tier technique, right? Top level purple tier battle technique. Spiritual type annihilation. Specific grade undetermined, upper limit determined by user. Uses spiritual power to condense and rotate, creating spiritual annihilation energy. Minimum cultivation requirement. Spiritual power at the middle stage of the heavenly ascension realm. Lin Shun instantly sucked in a breath of cold air. Top-level purple tier. This was practically the first top-level purple tier technique apart from his 9 tribulations of creation, and it was the rarest spiritual type technique. This type of technique was many times rarer than movement techniques. In fact, there might not even be a superior level purple tier spiritual type technique in the entire 9 states. What terrifying power! First, one has to condense a spiritual storm and create an extreme spiritual rotation in one's spiritual sea, causing spiritual power to collide with each other. Then, the spiritual annihilation energy is produced and used on the enemy. Is this a F*King technique? Isn't this suicide? F*CK. Lin Shin only briefly read the characteristics of this technique in the system before he cursed out loud. This technique required one to mobilize 2 waves of spiritual power in the spiritual bridge, causing them to rotate rapidly and collide with each other. This would continue until the spiritual annihilation energy was produced. A moment of carelessness would cause the spiritual power to explode in one's spiritual sea. If he didn't control it well, not to mention injuring the enemy, he would first become a F*King idiot. This was playing with fire and getting burned. No wonder there are so few top-level purple tier techniques in the 9 states. This F*King top-level purple tier technique is already so crazy. Then, what would an orange tier technique be like? For the time being, Lin Shun didn't dare to practice this annihilation technique. His spiritual energy was still a hair away from reaching the middle stage of the heavenly ascension realm. System: consume 10 million cultivation method essence to learn infinite dark steps. Lin Shin closed his eyes and rested. This time, he was going deep into the Dragon Clan, so the more life-saving methods he had, the better. The registration process lasted for a day before the competition officially began. When Lin Shin opened his azure dragon eyes, a dark light flashed through them. 10 million intermediate skill soul essences allowed his infinite silent steps to reach 55% proficiency. His movement technique had reached another level. There weren't too many rules in this grand competition. Only dragons below the age of 50,000 could participate. Life and death were up to fate. After surrendering, the opponent couldn't attack again. Those who violated the rules would be disqualified. The competition was a knockout competition, and most importantly, there was almost no time for rest. After advancing to the next level, they would immediately assign their opponents and arrange them into a new battle situation. They would fight all the way to the end. The beasts are indeed simple and crude. Lin Shin smiled and added, "But I like it." At this time, on top of the many 10,000 zhang tall mountains, various figures with tyrannical auras slowly walked in. They were the upper echelons of the Dragon Clan. Among them, there was no lack of 7th-rank beasts. Their battle prowess was close to the late stage of the 8th-level combat emperor. And what attracted Lin Shin's attention was a beautiful woman in a black dress who was confined by a 3-zhang-wide, transparent space cube. She was like a rose under the night sky. It's Qianyun. Then, it seems that the person beside her is the number 1 genius of the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon Clan. Lin Shin narrowed his eyes. That person was dressed in a crimson robe, overflowing with an evil aura. He had a dragon head and a human body. When he looked at Yin Qianyun, his gaze would occasionally reveal a lustful light and a lewd smile. The Dragon Clan was extremely lustful and loved to hide treasures. No matter if it was the same clan or the females of other clans, they had always been tainted countless times. At this time, although Yin Qianyun's expression was pretending to be calm, her beautiful eyes revealed a trace of despair and struggle from time to time. This was the central headquarters of the Dragon Clan. If she was captured here, unless she had the strength of a 9th-level combat emperor, there was no hope for her to escape. When the absolute space disintegrated, she didn't dare to imagine what kind of humiliation she would face. Moreover, the current situation of the spiritual state was unknown. The Yin family alone wouldn't be able to break in. Needless to say, Lin Chen would definitely not ignore Ning Qingxian. Perhaps he was still helping Ning Qingxian. Why would he care about her? Yin Qinyun didn't know that when she was gradually losing hope, Lin Shun had already arrived at the headquarters of the Dragon Clan. For other experts, perhaps even a 9th-level combat emperor would find it difficult to sneak into this place. However, Lin Shun had an Azure Dragon bloodline that originated from the origin. He could transform into a dragon without any pressure. At most, he would be judged as a wild dragon from the outside world. There are 10 7th grade dragons here, and most of them are comparable to a late 8th-level combat emperor. Moreover, there's a faint gaze in the void that I am very concerned about. Perhaps it is the old ancestor of the Dragon Clan. After some consideration, Lin Shun didn't plan to make a move for the time being. There was only one chance. If he was exposed, the possibility of a second chance would be very small. In the grand ceremony arena, there was a crescent-shaped valley surrounded by iron walls and reinforced space. A judge of the Dragon Clan floated in the air and announced loudly. First round, number 35, Yin Ming versus number 666 Long Chenbua. Second round, number 77 Shui Xiao versus number 45. Many ferocious beasts around Lin Chen immediately roared and roared. What the hell? He actually went up against Yin Ming right from the start? That guy was the red flame dragon that Lin Chen had offended before. Ha ha ha. I didn't expect this to be the will of the heavens. This daddy is destined to kill you. Brat, get up here and accept your death. Didn't you say you were going to end me with one punch? That red flame dragon spread his wings and flew into the grand ceremony arena. He hooked his finger in Lin Chen's direction and sneered cruelly. Lin Chen retracted his gaze from Yin Qinyun's direction. No matter what, he couldn't expose himself now. However, he had to let Yin Qinyun calm down first. If she didn't think it through, Lin Chen didn't know what she would do in the absolute space. If she committed suicide in front of him, wouldn't all his efforts be for naught? Looks like I, Long Chenbua, will have to carry out my high-profile style as usual. Lin Chen's half-human, half-dragon face laughed mischievously. He jumped into the arena and rotated his neck. The judge of the Dragon Clan arrived in the air and raised his hand. Both sides, get ready. Chapter 667. Don't worry, I'll tear you apart and swallow you alive. I guarantee you won't have a chance to surrender. Yin Ming laughed sinisterly. His dragon breath surged as he revealed his true form of a 3,000-meter scarlet flame dragon. He had the body of a lion and the tail of a tiger. Lightning flashed in his eyes, and his body was covered in flames. A pair of dragon wings flashed with lightning. Although his tone was filled with disdain, Long Chenbua was still a rank 7 beast. If he wanted to suppress him, he would have to reveal his true form. Maintaining an incomplete human form might not be enough. The grand battle arena's space had been reinforced by the elders, and the size of the beasts was suppressed. Speaking of which, I've really been a bit hungry recently. Long Chenbo smiled wickedly, and a brazen thought appeared in his mind. The referee suddenly gave the order. Begin. Rumble. Yin Ming slashed out with his claw. 5 dragon claw marks tore through the ground, and lightning flashed as they shot toward Long Chenbua. Lin Chen's figure flickered, and he transformed into an azure dragon. Rip! Rip! At this moment, all the beasts were stunned. They couldn't see Long Chenbua's movements at all. The dragon claw marks missed, and a sharp tearing sound rang out from behind Yin Ming. He immediately let out a heaven-shaking dragon roar. Dragon blood spurted out, and there was also a blazing dragon breath and lightning. The scarlet flame dragon's lightning flame wings were torn in two, and Long Chenbua, who was still in human form, grabbed them with his claws. He turned around in midair, and his azure dragon tail suddenly swept out, causing a sonic boom to resound. This dragon tail strike contained a pure strength to sweep through an army and uproot mountains and rivers, and it blasted Yin Ming flying, causing dragon blood to spray through the sky. Rumble. After Yin Ming was sent flying, Lin Shun caught the 2 chi and blood balls he dropped. Low-rank 7 beasts didn't drop that many attributes. Lin Shun had only used the pure power of 300,000 dragon veins to easily suppress him. How powerful! This Longchenbo really is a vicious character. That attack should have at least 3 million dragon energy points, right? TSK, TSK, TSK. Second only to some of the top dragon race prodigies. Let's see how Yin Ming deals with it. It's not easy to deal with it. At the beginning of the battle, they encountered a hidden dark horse that attracted the attention of many powerful beasts. Yin Ming's enormous dragon body crawled to his feet as a trace of madness flashed through his brutal killing intent. Lin Fan raised its wings and used his 2 iron rods to prop it up on his shoulders. If you don't bring out your best skills, I, Longchenbo, will send you back to your hometown with my next punch. You're courting death. Take my myriad flames, dragon breath. Yin Ming let out a furious roar, and his scarlet flame dragon aura erupted like 10,000 volcanoes. The lava of hell condensed into a blazing tornado that shot toward Longchenbo. TSK. Boom. Boom. The terrifyingly high temperature was enough to incinerate mountains and boil seas. Space was burned to the point of twisting and distorting. The temperature within the battle space instantly rose. If it weren't for the battle space's enchantment protecting the surroundings, the mountain range within a radius of several thousand miles would have been instantly incinerated, turning into a sea of fire. This kind of power is top-notch, even amongst low 7th rank beasts. I wonder if Longchenbo will be able to receive it. Many beasts' expressions were grave. This attack was practically Yin Ming's final attack. Unless it was a mid-7th rank beast, there was no way it could escape unscathed. However, what happened next caused countless beast scalps to turn numb. Longchenbo's soft laughter rang out from within the sea of fire. Right. Aya, put in more effort. Did you not eat? Put in more effort. The temperature isn't high enough. Fuck, can't you put in more effort? There's too little firepower. Oh, that's more or less enough. Everyone looked over, and all the high-ranked beasts sucked in a cold breath of air when they saw the situation within the sea of fire. As for Longchenbo, nothing had happened to him. Not only was he able to move freely in the sea of fire, he was even able to string Yin Ming's dragon wings together. He was actually using Yin Ming's dragon breath to roast the dragon wings that were dozens of meters long at the highest temperature of the fire. Fuck! Not only had he broken Yin Ming's wings in front of him, but he had even used his flame dragon breath to roast them. What kind of devil was this? Roasted dragon wings. I like eating them. Longchenbo hummed a song as he roasted the dragon wings. The aroma of the meat drifted to the high-tier dire beast seats, and the shrunken high-tier dire beast couldn't help but drool. Speaking of which, it was really King fragrant. This Xian Azure Dragon brat is a bit interesting. Haha, he's definitely still holding back. At the very least, he's at mid-7th rank. He really is a dark horse. The 2 Grand Elders shook their heads and laughed. The number 1 genius of the Red Lotus Flame Dragon race, Mo Tianyin, sneered. He's only SOSO. What a pretentious fellow. One of the elders smiled. Compared to young Master Tianyin, he naturally can't be compared. At most, he's just a wild dragon who had some fortuitous encounters. Unfortunately, this young master has already been baptized by the dragon pool. I won't be able to do it a second time within 20,000 years, or I'd definitely play this brat to death. Mo Tianyin laughed wickedly. Only Yin Qianyun, who was pretending to be calm, revealed a trace of doubt. Why did this kind of inconceivable absurdity feel so familiar? Within the grand battle arena. Hey, this really smells good. Spicy roasted dragon wings. Oh my god. Lin Fan's claw-like arm grabbed a skewer of roasted dragon wings. He directly opened his mouth and ate to his heart's content. The smell of roasted meat wafted through the air. The entire arena was filled with gulping sounds. He had used his dragon breath to roast his own dragon wings in front of Yin Ming, and then let this brat eat them? Amazing. A devil. He was definitely a devil. But Lin Chen really was hungry. Ever since he had returned from Pill Prefecture, he had fought non-stop. He hadn't had time to eat at all. His appetite had long since been stimulated to the point that his stomach was rumbling with hunger. Yu, seeing that Lin Chen had eaten half of his dragon wings in just a few bites, Yin Ming's face turned ashen. He stopped using his dragon breath and crazily charged at Lin Chen. Long Chen raised his dragon claw, which was dozens of meters long, and fiercely slammed it down. His pure strength was enough to sever mountains, rivers, and earth veins. He even destroyed one of Yin Ming's dragon arms, causing his entire body to fall to the ground. He didn't even care about the dragon's affairs. Victory and defeat had been decided. Seeing Long Chen only care about roasting the dragon wings, the dragon race referee's mouth twitched. This fellow really was too much of a dragon's anger. Yes, seeing how delicious your dragon wings are, and how much effort you put into roasting them for me, I'll let you live. Lin Chen laughed mischievously as he chewed on the dragon wings. Quite a few experts' eyelids twitched fiercely. Your dragon wings are so delicious, but I'll let you live? This was King insane. What kind of bullshit reason was that? So that he could roast them again in the future. Chapter 668. Yin Ming crawled up from the ground with difficulty. When he turned to look at Lin Chen, his eyes were filled with fear. This fellow had hidden his strength too deeply. He was completely at the level of a mid-7th rank beast. Winner, participant number 666 of the Northern Desolate Region, Long Chenhua. Many battles broke out in the grand ceremony. The aura of the battle lasted for a long time. The battles of the 7th rank beasts caused countless high rank beasts to cry out in satisfaction. The brutality of the law of the jungle was vividly displayed. There were even some who did not even have the time to shout out their surrender when encountering a powerful enemy. They were dug out and swallowed by the enemy along with their dire beast cores, causing countless brutal high-tier dire beasts to rejoice. Long Chenhua, who had just finished eating a pair of dragon wings, licked his lips as if he hadn't had enough. He turned to look at the other side of the competition area. The competition had no intention of stopping. It was another round of elimination. The dragon race that had won first would enter a new round, and the second battle's name had appeared. Participant number 666, Long Chenhua, versus number 214, Chihiba. In the air, a pair of eyes locked onto Lin Chen. He turned around, and their eyes met. It was the demonic flame Chi dragon that had provoked him before. Demonic flame Chi dragon, Chihiba, mid-7th rank, 480,000 dragon veins opened, comparable to a late 4th rank combat emperor. This was a high-rank dragon with extremely high combat strength, second only to the 10 great dragon races. The dragon race's bloodline was divided into low, mid, high, super, and sacred. Only the bloodline of the 10 great dragon races could be ranked as a super dragon race. As for the sacred dragon race, they only existed in the early days of the ancient era. Interesting. This Chihiba isn't simple. In the previous competition, he was in the top 30. It's a good opportunity to see how strong this wild dragon is. Mo Tianyin propped up his chin with one hand and looked at Lin Chen with interest. Yin Xianyun, who was in the absolute space, stared at Long Chenhua in silence. For some reason, this unique dragon gave her a sense of familiarity. This emperor isn't a crooked melon like Yin Ming. A mere wild dragon dares to show off here? This is the 10,000 dragon grand ceremony. It's not your turn to behave atrociously. Chihiba descended from the sky. His thousands of feet long Chi dragon body extended out like clouds and rain. His dragon head held high as he sneered in disdain. Good timing, I'm not full yet. Someone Lin chuckled, and Chijiba's expression turned even colder. "Battle begin!" The dragon race referee shouted. Chijiba exploded with a bang and turned into a blue fire tornado. His aura was monstrous as he attacked Lin Shun. Lin Shun took a few steps forward. The dragon aura in his entire body surged. His footwork was profound, like a frightening dragon swinging its tail. With a frightening dragon roaming body art, he easily dodged Chijiba's blue firestorm. What? Such profound footwork shocked Chijiba to the point that he let out a low roar, and his dragon tail suddenly swung back to strike horizontally. Lin Shin spun around in the air, his left arm transforming into a dragon claw. A faint green light circulated around it as he furiously swung it down. Rip! Bang! Smoke and dust rose from the plains as the draconic force tore through the earth veins. Streaks of draconic light green blades rotated in the air as draconic blood spurted out. Obtained 8, 25 million vitality energy, 10, 35 million vitality energy, 3, 56 million vitality energy. More than a dozen vitality energy light balls rolled out, and Lin Shun took them all. Not only was the scorching hot dragon tail torn apart by Lin Shen's claw, but even Chijiba's dragon tail was forcefully torn off. F***CK, this kid is so strong. Chijiba dragon retreated quickly. Seeing that his dragon tail had been cut off, he was enraged. He opened his dragon mouth wide, gathered his dragon aura, and turned it into a 1,000-feet-long fireball that smashed towards Lin Shun. Demonic Earth Flame. The attack did not stop. Chijiba dragon slammed its claws on the ground, and pillars of blue fire shot up from the ground like a volcanic eruption. Lin Shin's footwork was profound. His body was like a swimming dragon, and he dodged its attacks again and again. After devouring the bodies of the Han family's emperors, Lin Shin's Azure Dragon had reached the 700,000 dragon veins mark. His pure strength was already 7 million dragon points. Even if he could only use pure strength, Lin Shun could still deal with Chijiba dragon like a child. No pressure at all. Using only 500,000 dragon veins, he was playing with it in the palm of his hand. Wait, look, what is this wild dragon doing? On the plains, Long Chenbua flipped a few times in the air, using a silver spear to skewer Chijiba's severed dragon tail. Every time he dodged the demonic earth flame that Chijiba poured into the ground, the dragon tail would be roasted and flipped back and forth within the pillar of demonic flames. The aroma of roasting meat permeated the air. You're still doing it. F***CK. Are you F***king done yet? Did Long Chenbua come to participate in the competition or to barbecue? What a F***king despicable dragon. Roasting dragon wings in front of others wasn't enough, and now you want to roast dragon penis? Chijiba let out a hysterical roar. Long Chenbua, I'll kill you. Chijiba, I'll help you roast it. Both sides suddenly soared into the sky. Chijiba's demonic flame, hornless dragon's body, turned into a blue flaming star as it plummeted down. Two dragon arms, surging with scorching dragon breath, slammed forward. Lin Shen's claw smashed down, shattering mountains and rivers as they collided head-on. Rumble. One man and one dragon were like two continents colliding. The terrifying collision of pure power created shockwaves that tore through the earth veins. The collision of dragon claws caused smoke to rise, creating a huge wave of dust that was thousands of meters tall. It was like a large-scale natural disaster was descending. All the high-rank, vicious beasts couldn't help holding their breaths. Just who had won? The smoke had yet to disperse when a hearty exclamation came from the sky. How fragrant! It would be even better if there was wine. This little bastard had won again? All the high-rank, vicious beasts were speechless. Damn it, are you addicted to eating? Then didn't he have the strength of a peak, mid-7th rank? A certain Lin Shun was standing in the air, holding a roasted dragon penis. He was happily gnawing on it. Yan Xinyun stared at him with even more confusion and curiosity. This unique sense of absurdity, this feeling from beginning to end, she had only ever felt it from one person. Lin Chun. Lin Chun. Could it be that this Long Chenbua was Lin Chun? Long Chenbua. Long Chenbua. Chem? Chenbua? What kind of name is that? Huh. Yin Xinyun spat, a trace of self-mockery in her eyes. Even in her despair, she could still think of this fellow. But why'd he come? Right now, he was still risking his life for the Ning family's young miss. The winner is participant number 666 of the Northern Desolate region, Long Chenbua. After confirming that Ba was no longer able to fight, the judge announced the result. Consecutive victories. This Long Chenbua had without a doubt become one of the dark horses of this competition. What a pure bloodline. What a domineering divine ability. This child is a genius of my 10,000-year profound Azure Dragon race. The Grand Elder of the Dark Azure Dragon clan, who was sitting at the peak of the Holy Mountain, suddenly stood up, his face filled with excitement. Regardless of whether it was Lin Chen's manifold black light blade or frightening dragon roaming movement technique, they were both top-notch mystical abilities in their race. Only the dragon race's prodigies, with extremely pure bloodlines, had such talent. If they could obtain this child, their 10,000-year profound Azure Dragon race would have a genius on the level of Mo Tianyin from the Red Lotus Flame Dragon race. The Long Chunbo in the air still hadn't eaten his fill after finishing the roasted dragon penis. He laughed heartily. Who else? I, old brother Chenbo, will not refuse anyone. As soon as he said that, many of the dragons participating in the competition looked at him with fear. Some of them even cursed his entire family dozens of times in their hearts. Who the fuck would dare to fight with you? Roasting without a word, fuck. Chapter 669. The third match was about to begin. This time, Lin Chen's opponent had actually forfeited. Fourth round, opponent forfeited. Fifth round, opponent forfeited again. The reason was simple. Lin Chen's battle prowess was already at the peak of mid-7th rank. In terms of battle prowess, Long Chunbo's battle prowess was already in the top 10 or even top 5 of this year's competition. The number of people who could fight against him could be counted on one hand. Finally, in the 6th round, Lin Chun met the top 3 experts of this year's competition. She belonged to one of the 10 great dragon races, the Ice Dragon Princess of the Ice Dragon race. Icy Cold. She was a genuine super dragon. Her battle prowess was at the peak of mid-7th rank, but her battle prowess was not inferior to a normal high 7th rank beast. Number 324 Icy Cold versus number 666 Long Chunbo begin. At the judge's command, a large number of high-ranked beasts looked over curiously. The 2-seeded contestants were going to meet in advance. In this year's competition, Icy Cold was hailed as the next Mo Tianyin. Her talent was extremely high. Other than the even more monstrous Hei Lang, no one could compare to her. In the arena, Lin Chen looked at the little girl with the Ice Jade Dragon Horn. He shook his head and laughed. Little girl, don't say that Brother Chunbo bullied you. Rip. Boom. A terrifying chi wave rolled out, and a blue light flashed. Her icy cold jade leg ferociously kicked at Long Chunbo's most vulnerable part. Bang! An earth-shaking explosion rang out. All the male beasts felt a chill in their nether regions. Fuck, that was over 9 million dragon energy points. Who the F asterisk CK could withstand this? I'm older than you, little girl. What a joke. The 4-meter tall Icy Cold was laughing coldly when her expression suddenly changed. A flash of blue light appeared below her. Long Chunbo had his arms crossed leisurely. Nothing happened at all. All the high-rank beasts sucked in a breath of cold air. Even a dire beast that had just entered rank 7 wouldn't dare to take that kick without any defense, let alone that part. Fuck, he's even flashing there. Crazy. Just how hard is he? Many high-tier dire beasts with outstanding defenses could not help but be dumbfounded. How is that possible? Even if he's a 10,000-year profound Azure Dragon, He can't possibly be this hard. Cold immediately felt something was wrong. She took a step back, and when her petite body retreated, Lin Chen caught up with her like a ghost. He directly blew into her ear, and it instantly turned red. "Little girl, are you going to forfeit on your own? Or do you want me to teach you a lesson before you forfeit? Go to hell." Cold Ice was furious. He clenched his fist and punched back. TSK. The dragon's breath carried frost and cold wind as it violently punched towards Lin Chen. Who would have thought that it was another afterimage? He's probably a Class 6 dire beast. I can't hold back anymore. Cold Ice finally realized the gap between them. With a roar, he twisted his small body and transformed into a 1,000-meter-long ice calamity dragon. The cold dragon's breath swirled around the cold dragon's body like a cloud. The cold dragon's breath made many high-tier dire beasts turn solemn. If it weren't for the fact that the space had been specially reinforced by the elders, just the dragon's breath alone would be able to freeze thousands of miles. Long Chinbua, you dare to humiliate this princess? Go to hell. Cold Ice roared. Her dragon head swayed, and she opened her mouth to spit out an ice tornado. It swept all the way, wanting to directly freeze Long Chinbua. Lin Chen's eyes lit up. He took 2 steps back and continuously picked up the attribute light balls dropped by Cold Ice. Received 285 water element energy, 359 water element energy, 344 water element energy. At the same time as his attributes increased, Lin Chen extended his Azure Dragon Tail and turned around in the air. Azure Dragon Tail Whip. Bang! The ice dragon's breath exploded. Lin Chen's tail crushed the ice dragon's breath, releasing 600,000 dragon veins. Cold Ice's expression was solemn. She didn't expect to meet such a strong opponent so quickly. 6 million dragon points. Damn, this brat really hid his strength well. He's really reached Class 7. It's hard to say who will win. It's too difficult to challenge someone of a higher rank. Wait, look, what's that brat doing? Before everyone could sigh in amazement at Lin Chen's strength, the cold mist scattered, and a mellow fragrance of wine floated out. What entered the eyes of the beast was the small icebergs standing in the arena. They were created by the cold dragon's breath. Long Chen was holding a 5-meter-tall and 2-meter-wide jade cup. The jade cup was filled to the brim with dark green wine. A refreshing wine fragrance flowed through it. Long Chinbua was standing in front of one of the icebergs, his eyes shining. What happened next infuriated Han Bing so much that he almost vomited blood. All the high-rank fierce beasts watching felt their scalps turn numb. He stretched out his dragon claw and gently knocked on the iceberg, breaking a few small ice cubes and rolling them in his jade cup. Then he raised his dragon claw, and in front of all the high-level ferocious beasts, he opened his dragon mouth and gulped it down. Ah, refreshing. Ice is still the best. I'm refreshed. The world is refreshed. Long Chinbua praised from the bottom of his heart, as if he had been electrocuted. His chi and blood energy continued to rise. This was the recipe he had obtained when refining pills for the experts who had summoned him. It was called Green Spirit Blood Quenching Wine. It was a low-grade Class 7 high-rank medicinal pill that could temper one's body. Many fierce beasts who were watching this ceremony for the first time were dumbfounded. What kind of freak was this? Where did the Baron State find such a powerful, profound azure dragon? What the hell did he mean by adding ice to drink? Furthermore, this was the highest level of the dragon race's 10,000 dragon ceremony. It wasn't a banquet, but he was barbecuing, drinking, and adding ice? Crazy. Yin Xinyan covered her mouth. Could this really be? Yes, the princess of the glacial calamity dragon added ice to my drink. It's passable. It's average. Lin Chen chuckled. The crowd outside the arena exploded. Fuck. Many high-rank fierce beasts, and even the elders of the glacial calamity dragon, all cursed and stood up. This was too excessive. He dared to drink wine in the middle of the battle, and he even added ice. Long Chinbua, you're courting death. Han Bingling roared. Thousands of feet of icy dragon aura surged out of his body, forming a vast ice spear. He pushed forward, and the spear pierced forward. 10,000-year black light blade. Lin Shun released the 610,000th dragon vein of the Azure Dragon. He put down the jade cup and turned his hands into dragon claws. He swung them down, and a light blade shot out. Rumble. The two dragon auras collided. The light blade cut through the ice spear and tore through Han Bingling's dragon scales. Han Bingling's entire body was sent flying hundreds of miles away. Dragon blood spurted out, and elemental light balls rolled out. Surrender! Before he could shout, the elders of the Glacial Calamity Dragon tribe suddenly stood up and shouted, "Surrender!" Han Bingling was the treasure of their tribe. How could they let anything happen to her? Long Chunbo raised his dragon claw and took a sip of the green spirit blood-quenching wine. At the same time, he smiled coquettishly at Yin Qianyun and winked at her. It really was him? Yin Qianyun covered her mouth with both hands. Her heart trembled. Could it be that he had really come? He had come to the center of the barren state's dragon race for her. Chapter 670. Oh, Mo Tianyun's gaze was like lightning as it locked onto Lin Shun. Killing intent flashed through his eyes. This brat dares to have ideas about my woman? As soon as he thought of this, Lin Chen's gaze shifted elsewhere. It seemed like a casual move. Mo Tianyun furrowed his brows and then relaxed. Was I mistaken? Forget it. If a wild dragon dares to provoke me, I'll tear you to pieces. Mo Tianyun waved his sleeve and looked at Yin Qianyun in absolute space. A lewd light circulated in his dragon eyes. Little darling, in 7 more days, you'll be able to serve me. Ha ha! At that time, I'll let you see my bed skills. Compared to humans, I'll make you forget to leave. Yin Qianyun glanced at it. She was surprisingly calm and unperturbed. Mo Tianyun, it's too early to say that. How do you know that I'm definitely your woman? This calm tone caused Mo Tianyun's eyebrows to jump. How had this little beauty suddenly become so calm? Yin Qianyun was 70% certain that this Long Chenbua was Lin Shun, since he had personally come to the dragon race. Regardless of success or failure, she was willing to gladly accept him. Obtained 5,800,000 chi in blood energy, 450 water energy, for 1,800,000 chi in blood energy. After taking away the attribute balls that chilly ice had dropped, she fiercely glared at Lin Shun. However, she didn't complain too much. The barren state was a place where the strong reigned supreme. The strength that Lin Shun displayed was much stronger than hers. No matter how unwilling she was, she had no choice but to accept it. Compared to the other two who had their tails roasted and dragon wings roasted, her outcome was considered better. I didn't expect to encounter such a dark horse in this ceremony. Yes, it's a pity. He's from the lowest ranked 10,000-year profound Azure Dragon race. He should be a dragon that wandered outside the barren state and obtained heaven-defying opportunities to return. He's using this opportunity to amaze the world. This little fellow is very strong. If he can receive the baptism of the sacred dragon pond, perhaps he'll be the second Mo Tianyun. The peak 7th-ranked dragon race grand elders stroked their beards and smiled. The most excited ones were the elders of the profound Azure Dragon race. Who else? Long Chumbua's domineering words caused the entire crowd to fall silent. Who the hell would still dare to fight with him? Even the Ice Dragon Princess, Han Bingling, had been casually added ice by him, completely beating him up. He only had one opponent left. Hee, Wild Dragon, you are very arrogant. A black-robed figure floated in the air and smiled evilly. They're finally here. The high-tier, ferocious beast shuddered as they stared at the black-robed young man in the air. Its dragon wings were spread out, and, aside from its legs, which were dragon claws, it was almost completely in human form. Its entire body was surrounded by a pitch-black dragon aura, and its pair of demonic and mysterious eyes were flowing with an abyss-like strange light, as if any living being would be sucked in with just a glance. The strongest of this year's ceremony, Hei Lang of the Umbra Heavenly Dragon Clan. Rank 7 Dragon Race, 620,000 dragon veins had been opened. Most importantly, Hei Lang was Cold's #1 pursuer. This Long Chenbua actually dared to tease Cold Han just now. Perhaps there would be a fierce battle. Elder, I want to challenge this wild dragon. Hei Lang was tyrannical and unruly. He smiled evilly and challenged Lin Chen by name. Roar. Good. Devour him, Your Highness Hei Lang. Pull out his dragon tendons and skin him alive. Excited roars and roars rang out from outside the arena. Practically everyone favored Hei Lang. I accept the challenge. Long Chenbua smiled, a strange light flashing in his eyes. Lin Chen noticed that this Hei Lang had a special attribute light in the shape of a black spiral. Perhaps the attribute points it dropped would give him a pleasant surprise. After infiltrating the Dragon Clan this time, Lin Chen's intermediate vitality points had increased by nearly 90 million points just by participating in the ceremony alone. His pure strength had increased from 5 million to 5 million, and his divine power had increased to 8 million. Rumble. Hei Lang entered the arena on a black wave, looking extremely confident and evil. His evil pupils had an extremely vicious aura. When he looked at Lin Chen, it was as if a giant dark dragon was about to pounce on him. The aura of the dragon was so oppressive that it distorted the space around him. Lin Chen was calm and composed. He didn't panic in the slightest. He even glanced at Bing Shan, wanting to drink another cup. His green dragon bloodline should be above average amongst the super dragon race. In terms of talent, he was on the same level as Hei Lang. In terms of power, his 700,000 dragon veins completely suppressed Long Chenbua. Furthermore, he still had another trump card, the winged dragon bloodline. Lin Chen hadn't used his winged dragon bloodline since the start of the battle. Although he was holding back, it was also to avoid causing a commotion. It would be troublesome if some of the ancestors were to come out. That was because there had never been a case of two pure bloodlines coexisting in one body. Even Long Kuan only had the green dragon and purple phoenix bloodlines. They were completely different from Lin Chen's green dragon bloodline. Number 11 Hei Lang against number 666 Long Chenbua. Both sides, get ready. Even the dragon race's elders were impatient to watch this battle. This battle drew the attention of almost all the fierce beasts. The battles in the other arenas were completely unimportant. That was because this level of power was even stronger than some of the dragon race's elders. Even some peak 6th rank fierce beasts wouldn't be able to see such a battle even in 1,000 years. Suddenly, Long Chenbua raised his hand and shouted, "Wait!" All the fierce beasts looked over. Long Chenbua's expression was extremely grave. He seemed to be searching for something on his body. As expected, he's going to bring out his true power in front of His Highness Hei Lang. Haha, this little fellow has some self-awareness. His Highness Hei Lang isn't on the same level as his previous opponents. I wonder what kind of trump card he's going to take out. Many high-rank, vicious beasts gulped, subconsciously focusing their attention on Long Chenbua. Just what kind of killing move would he use in this final battle? The 10 dragon race's elders were also extremely curious. They stared at Lin Chen. The 10,000-year profound Azure Dragon race's elder even excitedly stood up. Mo Tianyin narrowed his eyes. He also wanted to know what kind of trump card this wild dragon had that could threaten his position. Long Chenbua had appeared out of nowhere without any background. No one believed he wouldn't have at least one killing move or some life-saving trump card. Otherwise, it would be a complete waste of his strength and potential. The previously defeated Han Bingling stood outside of the arena, her expression grave. Just what kind of killing move would this Long Chenbua use to defeat her without even revealing his true body? Haha, it seems you still have some self-awareness for this emperor. Hei Lang crossed his arms in front of his chest. The corners of his mouth curled up, and his eyebrows raised slightly. He looked extremely arrogant. In front of everyone's gazes, Long Chenbua took out a spatial ring. Light flickered, and he took out 2 books from it. Long Chenbua even took a deep breath and carefully flipped through these 2 books. All the fierce beasts held their breaths, their expressions extremely solemn. Was it coming? Was his trump card some kind of peerless secret technique or cultivation technique of the dragon race? Or was it a long-lost divine ability from the ancient era? Everyone's attention was completely focused on the two books in his hands. There were two titles written on them. They were 1001 Ways to Make Roasted Dragon Tendons and 1,000,000 Secret Techniques. How to Make a Dragon's Tail Delicious. Silence, a deathly silence. The entire arena was so silent that even a pin drop could be heard. Chapter 671. I can't. I really can't. I can't laugh. I can't laugh. I can't laugh now. Suddenly, a burst of laughter rang out in the silent arena. Yin Xinyun, who was in the absolute space, laughed for the first time. She didn't care about her bearing anymore and laughed while holding her stomach. Ha ha ha. I can't. There's a weirdo here. Heavens, how did his brain grow? Yin Xinyun laughed until tears came out of her eyes. Mo Tianyun's eyebrows twitched. This was the first time he had seen this beautiful woman laugh ever since he had kidnapped her. She was laughing so happily. Yin Xinyun was now almost completely sure that this Long Chenbua was Lin Chun. Other than him, no one else would do such a thing. Too despicable. Fuck. F*CK, his grandmother's 18 generations of exploding loudspeakers. F*CK, that Long Chenbua. He's going too far. Did he come to participate in the ceremony or to barbecue? F*CK. When they saw the 1001 Ways to Make Roasted Dragon Tendon and How to Make a Dragon's Tail with 1,000,000 exclusive secret techniques in Mr. Lin's hands, all the beasts turned into quality spectators and began to spew fragrance, their saliva flying everywhere. One by one, they spoke as if they had eaten honey. Hei Lang was all smiles, but the veins on his face were like horned dragons. It was truly horrifying. I'll crush your bones one by one. I'll pull out your dragon veins and chew them all. Hei Lang roared, and a monstrous dragon aura soared into the heavens. The black mist-like dragon aura transformed into a majestic shadow heavenly dragon. Its claws were like an eagle's, its head was like a heavenly tiger's, its teeth were like swords, its scales were like black iron, and its body was like a mountain range. Wild dragon die. When the shadow heavenly dragon spat out a mouthful of dragon breath, it was as if the entire arena was covered in endless darkness. Chi! The ground split open, and over a dozen huge dragon claws appeared out of thin air, wanting to crush Long Chenbua. Even the referee didn't care whether Hei Lang had broken the rules or not. That really infuriated Long Chun. 1,000 ways to roast dragon tendons? What did you take the number one dragon genius of the current generation to be? That was a super genius from the Dragon Clan who was on the same level as Mo Tianyun. Lin Fan used the frightening dragon roam and retreated. When he put away the two secret manuals, he couldn't help but curse. F*CK, do you still have any manners? You still want to launch a sneak attack? F*CK, you still have the cheek to talk about quality? Before Hei Lang could say anything, all the spectators angrily opened their mouths to greet Long Chen's 18 generations. Hei Lang continued to slap the ground. While the earth trembled, dragon's breath condensed out of thin air, and the shadow dragon's breath claw repeatedly slapped out of thin air. Immediately after, pillars of dark energy shot down from the sky like a rain of flowers. Shwa, shwa, shwa. Long Chenbua's figure transformed into a ray of green light, constantly flickering as he retreated. In the face of Hei Lang's crazy attacks, he dodged and dodged, narrowly avoiding all of them. It looked like he was being completely suppressed, unable to fight back at all. He's scared. Hit him, Your Highness Hei Lang. Hit his mother. Kill this wild dragon as hard as you can. The spectators all cheered. Seeing Long Chenbua retreating like he couldn't fight back at all, they all felt great inside. F*CK. Even you have a day like this, continue to flirt. If you keep flirting all day long, His Highness He Lang will skin you alive. Many high-rank beasts were elated and cheered. He's scared. This brat is finally scared. Only Han Binglin frowned. She knew that Long Chimbua's strength was definitely not at the level where he couldn't fight back against He Lang. The next moment, Long Chimbua easily dodged He Lang's remaining attacks. He approached the remaining 2 ice mountains and picked up the green spirit blood quenching wine that he had prepared beforehand. Han Binglin's mouth twitched. Could it be? Crack, crack. Long Chimbua's dragon claw broke a few more pieces of ice. He raised his cup and drank it in one gulp. His body twitched, and he couldn't help but let out a moan. Ah, I feel good. The world feels good. He still had the time to drink ice. F***CK. F***CK. Get out of the way. All of you, get out of the way. Don't block me. Today, I'm going to fight this little bastard to the death. If I don't kill him today, I'll write my king character backwards. A large number of ice-type, high-grade vicious beasts were so angry that they directly went berserk. They howled and bared their teeth. As they revealed their true forms, their murderous aura was monstrous. Their mountain-sized bodies crazily slammed into the spatial barrier outside the arena. With their explosive tempers, they wanted nothing more than a fight with Long Chunbua. This was too excessive. Did the ice attribute beasts not have beast rights these days? They had all been reduced to this brat's drink. The 8 elders of the Xian Azure Dragon race hastily rushed to the side of the battlefield, afraid that a large number of beasts would go crazy and cause the situation to go out of control. With so many high-rank beasts attacking Long Chimbua, no matter how strong he would still die. It seems I'm being looked down on. Drink? I'll drink your F***king snakeskin hammer. He Lang roared and soared into the sky. His dragon claws tore through the air, and 3 black dragon marks appeared. They were like sharp blades that cut through the earth veins. The power of this attack surpassed most mid-6th level combat emperors. The talent of the super dragon race allowed them to jump ranks. Xian Lightblade. Lin Chun activated all the way to the 690,000th dragon vein in one breath. With 699 million dragon points, he furiously brandished his dragon claws. Green light twisted and turned into a whirlwind of light blades that shot out like a storm. Chi, 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 chi. Countless green light blades destroyed He Lang's black dragon marks. He was forced to retreat step by step. 699 million dragon points? The green light blades shot toward him. He Lang activated a shadow barrier, and the light blades spun rapidly, cutting through his dragon breath barrier. Bang! He Lang was sent flying, but the green light blade's power was greatly reduced. He didn't suffer any serious injuries. This scene shocked all the high-tier dire beasts. They all sucked in a breath of cold air. 699 million dragon points? Wasn't this strength second only to Mo Tianyin? This wasn't the strength of a dragon that had been baptized by the sacred dragon pond. If it was baptized by the sacred dragon pond, wouldn't it be possible for Long Chinbua to surpass Mo Tianyin? The elders of the Xian dragon race were overjoyed as if they had picked up a treasure. Bang! 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 The earth trembled. Lin Chun transformed into the Xian dragon for the first time and charged toward He Lang. Damn it! Great darkness engulfs the heavens. He Lang hysterically roared and unleashed a black dragon breath that was thousands of feet long towards the Azure Dragon. Xian Dragon Domain. Streams of dragon chi turned into a dark green dragon light that circled around the dragon's body. It condensed into a green armor and charged into the dragon breath storm. Rip! The sonic boom whistled as the Azure Dragon soared into the sky. Its momentum did not diminish as it charged towards He Lang. He had actually withstood He Lang's all-out attack. What? He Lang's mouth twitched. The tyrannical Azure Dragon charged over. When it collided with He Lang, it was as if 2 small continents had collided. Boundless shockwaves rose into the sky. Chapter 672. Bang! Hei Lang was sent flying. Rip! The azure dragon raised its claw and slashed down furiously. The claw tore through the universe and crushed Hei Lang's dragon scales. Blood and flesh splattered everywhere, and a miserable cry resounded throughout the battlefield. This claw had directly cut off Hei Lang's dragon arm. The strength of both sides were not on the same level. The 10,000-year profound azure dragon was famous for its defense. The azure dragon's defense was activated with 690,000 dragon veins. Only an early 7th-level combat emperor could break a part of it. No matter how strong Hei Lang was, he was only stronger than most mid-6th-level combat emperors. There was still a large gap between him and an early 7th-level combat emperor. The azure dragon rushed through his attack with ease. Obtained 5 million chi and blood energy. 95 million chi and blood energy. 9 million chi and blood energy. 2 million chi and blood energy. The extremely high-quality chi and blood energy balls rolled down and were all absorbed by Lin Chen's dragon body. The system screen kept popping up. After tearing off Hei Lang's dragon arm at a close distance, its eyes were filled with rage. It opened its bloody mouth and bit down on the azure dragon's dragon arm. Crack! The dragon tooth was broken and flew out. Blood was flowing everywhere. With this bite, even the teeth were broken, which made Hei Lang dumbfounded. It couldn't bite this long chun at all. This scene was also seen by many high-ranked beasts. Their eyebrows twitched wildly. Oh my god, why is he so hard? I'll fight you to the death. 8 Desolation Exploding Claw. The remaining dragon claw struck out like lightning, violently attacking the azure dragon's head. Lin Chen squinted his dragon eyes and directly activated the profound azure dragon realm. Bang! Bang! This attack was extremely powerful. The moment it hit the azure dragon, the dragon claw exploded 8 times in a row at the spot it had hit. Each explosion was equivalent to a late 6th-level combat emperor's attack. If one was not careful, a late 6th-level combat emperor would be seriously injured or even killed. Hei Lang was able to unleash a super strong attack that was 2 levels higher than him. In the history of the 9 prefectures, he was considered one of the best. Unfortunately, its opponent was Lin Chen. This claw only managed to push the azure dragon's body back, causing the azure dragon's chi and blood to churn. Lin Chen instantly activated the Godly Thief's Omen and absorbed the black spiral elemental light into the dragon's body. Consumed 20,000 talent points to activate Stealing Omen. The host has stolen a mysterious body-refining combat skill. 7 Ultimate Force, Purple Rank Peak, Grade Unknown. Another Purple Tier Battle Skill. Moreover, it was the same as the Annihilation Secret Spiritual Manual. Its exact grade was still unknown. Would it be top-notch low-grade or top-notch top-notch? I'll accept this great gift. Lin Chen laughed heartily and no longer held back. His entire body suddenly released all the dragon veins of the azure dragon's main body. 7 million dragon power points. The dragon power's aura shook the heavens, covering the clouds and covering the moon. The claw pushed away mountains and rivers for thousands of miles and smashed violently into Hei Lang's dragon body. It was as if the earth veins had been broken, and balls of vitality attribute light exploded all over the ground. This aura caused the fierce beasts outside the arena to feel numb. 7 million dragon power points? This kind of strength was not inferior to some of the Grand Elders. It had completely surpassed Mo Tianyin back when he hadn't been baptized by the sacred dragon pool. At this moment, Mo Tianyin's expression was extremely ugly. If he had attended the same ceremony as Long Chen back then the one being beaten down right now would be him. No, I surrender, I surrender. Hei Lang coughed up blood as he shouted his surrender. Several elders quickly protected him. This was the future pillar of the Umbra Heavenly Dragon. If he died, they wouldn't be able to explain themselves. TCH, I let him run again. If I beat him up, I should be able to get even more tribute points. Lin Shun, who had been planning on chasing after He Lang, felt a pang of regret. But fortunately, he had the 7 ultimate force. Furthermore, killing He Lang wasn't necessarily a good thing. If the Umbra Heavenly Dragon decided to make things difficult for him, he wouldn't be able to save Yin Xinyan. Obtained 369 points of darkness energy, 784 points of darkness energy, 450 points of darkness energy, 28. 5 million points of vitality energy, 18 million points of vitality energy. The Umbra Heavenly Dragon's drops made Lin Chun grin from ear to ear. The rarest darkness attribute points were all over the place. The winner is the Northern Desolate Regions, number 666 participant, Long Chun Bo. When the referee elder made the announcement, his eyes were still filled with lingering fear and shock. This brat had hidden his strength too deeply. Over 700,000 dragon veins. This kind of strength was equal to over half of the grand elders of the 10 great dragon races. The elders of the Xian Azure Dragon race immediately protected Lin Shun. Good brat, haha. This time, you've really given our Xian Azure Dragon race face. Our race has finally produced a peak heavenly genius. Haha. They were afraid that the Umbra Heavenly Dragon would cause trouble, so they immediately stood by Lin Chen's side. When Lin Shun saw the elders of the Umbra Heavenly Dragon help He Lang up, they looked at him as if they wanted to eat him alive. Lin Shun decisively put away his dragon form and raised his middle finger to show his respect. This time, Lin Shun used his identity as Long Chun Bo to suppress the only genius comparable to Mo Tianyan. Almost no savage beast dared to fight him. Every time he drew an opponent, they would immediately forfeit. Lin Shun was also happy to wait for the results. He opened the system and activated the fusion function. System, fuse all the weapons except for my main weapon. This time, Lin Shun fused all the weapons he had. Consumed 590,000 heavenly Dao points. Fused 69 mid-grade rank, 7 weapons, 29 high-grade rank, 7 weapons, and 2 low-grade rank, 7 weapons. Of the 2 low-grade rank, 7 weapons, one was a chain ball made of cyan mystic crystal jade, and the other was a soul reaper scythe. They were obtained from the 2 sacred boundary emissaries who had tried to steal Lin Chen's Azure Moon. They were not suitable for Lin Shun. Boom! Ding! Fusion successful. The host has obtained a mid-grade rank, 7 weapon, Wind Emperor Bow. The bow was 5 feet long, and the bowstring was translucent and dazzling. The tail of the bow was inlaid with green jade, and there was a faint sound of wind and thunder. When it moved, mountains and rivers would shatter. A mid-grade rank, 7 bow. It's one of the best weapons in the entire 9 states, and even in the Firmament Tower. Lin Shun was slightly shocked. Even in the legendary Cloud State, where blacksmiths were popular, the highest grade weapons that were publicly auctioned were only mid-grade rank, 7 weapons. In the past 50,000 years, there had only been 2 records of such weapons being sold. This showed how precious this weapon was. I wonder if I can threaten the late 8th level combat emperors with this bow. It's worth looking forward to. After dripping his blood on the bow, Lin Chen activated the system again. System, I want to learn 7 ultimate force. Consumed 5,400,000 heavenly Dao essence to learn 7 ultimate force. After learning the 7 ultimate force, Lin Shun sat outside the arena and closed his eyes to rest. His aura was as strong as a river, and the sun and moon were high in the sky. It was as if he was comprehending some powerful secret technique. The beasts around him were frightened and didn't dare to approach him. Chapter 673. 7 Ultimate Force was a pure, body-refining battle technique. It used a special method to control pure strength to attack. It contained 7 types of ultimate force: cut, tear, pull, twist, penetrate, explode, and kill. Each type of force had its own unique characteristics. There were different ways to deal with different situations. With Lin Shen's current dragon power, he could only use the first 2 types of force: cut and tear. If he used the latter too forcefully, he would hurt himself before he could use them. If his pure strength was not up to par, he would only destroy his own body. Time passed, and the ceremony continued. Lin Chun was immersed in the mystery of this new top-tier purple rank technique. He was almost drunk. It was too magical. It was the first time he found out that pure strength could be used in such a mysterious way. Although the 7 ultimate strength was a type of combat skill, it was more like a top-tier purple rank technique to use one strength. Its ultimate strength could be used in any way. Whether it was finger techniques, leg techniques, fist techniques, palm techniques, or claw techniques, they could all be used together. It all depended on the user's control. As long as the user had enough potential and the right combination, this body-refining battle technique had the possibility of becoming a top-tier purple rank technique. The top blue rank combat skill, Dark Dragon Palm, that Lin Chun had once practiced, had the same effect of twisting force and penetrating force. Although it was a different method, it achieved the same result. However, Dark Dragon Palm and 7 Ultimate Force were different. The former used Dark-type battle aura to create these 2 types of force, while the latter relied on pure strength to control it. They were on completely different levels. It was like a sword made of fine iron and a sword made of 10,000-year-old cold iron. They looked similar, but when they fought, they were on completely different levels. 5 days later, Lin Chun slowly opened his eyes. The ceremony was about to end. What an exquisite cultivation technique. I only managed to learn 20% of the 5,400,000 intermediate cultivation technique soul essences, but it gave me the feeling that my control over pure strength has risen by several levels. Lin Chun casually waved his hand. His 5 fingers streaked across the air, producing a sizzling sound of air being torn apart. A deep fissure appeared in the air. This was one of the 7 ultimate forces that he could use at his current stage. Cutting force. As long as he uses 7 million dragon power points, even if it's just a finger, the cutting force will be comparable to the full power of a 7th level combat emperor. What if he uses his palm? Even Lin Chun felt a lingering fear. Purple tier, top tier battle skill. Its reputation was well-deserved. In the past, Lin Chun's main battle prowess in challenging those a higher level was the enhancement of his mental cultivation method, runes, and talent. It depended on whether the level of his weapon and cultivation method could give him an advantage. Following the increase in his opponent's strength, Lin Chun's cultivation technique and weapon lost all their advantages. In addition, the difference in strength between the late-stage War Emperor was extremely large, so it was extremely difficult for him to skip a level. Not only did Lin Chun want to increase his cultivation, he also wanted to collect more top-notch cultivation techniques. At this time, an old man in a red robe floated in the air. He was a peak rank 7 dragon race ancestor. He was comparable to a mid-9th level combat emperor. Haha, this competition really is full of surprises. First place is actually that little fellow from the northern desolate region, Long Chinbua. At the moment when the red-robed old man announced, the whole place became strangely quiet. This was probably the first time that there was no applause when the winner of the competition was announced. Who would give you a barbecue so easily? Who would dare to clap? I don't have any good points, but I like to keep a low profile. Since everyone didn't say anything, I guess you all want me to keep a low profile. I like it very much. Please remember, if you are infertile, please find me. My name is Chinbo. Thank you. Lin Chuan stood up and said calmly with his half-human, half-dragon face. Many ferocious beasts almost fainted from anger. How could he be a foil to him just by keeping his mouth shut? This Long Chinbua was poisonous, extremely poisonous. Yan Xianyun, who was in the absolute space, was laughing like a flower. She was completely different from her usual transcendent appearance. This girl can still laugh. It seems like she has recognized me. Before the time limit of the absolute space is up, she shouldn't act rashly. Next, let's see how I can save her during the banquet. Lin Chun narrowed his eyes. Other than Yan Xianyun, he also had a strong interest in the dragon race's sacred dragon pond. As long as he had the chance, he didn't mind making a big deal out of it. The top 5 of this banquet, please step forward. Outside of the top 5, please go to the dragon platform to receive your reward. The red-robed elder shook his head and laughed. 5 figures appeared in the air. The one at the front was Long Chinbua, followed by Han Bingling and Hei Lang, as well as the Red Lotus Flame Dragon and the Heavenly Rain Dragon race's super geniuses. Countless dragons looked at them enviously. These 5 people would become influential figures of the dragon race in the future. At the very least, they would have the status of Grand Elders. The red-robed elder waved his sleeve, and a spatial channel appeared in the air. He said, "The top 5, follow me to choose the sacred dragon pond." Lin Shen was extremely curious. He slowly stepped into the spatial channel. The other 4 dragons followed behind him. The spatial channel was filled with silver light. The other 4 dragons didn't dare to get close to Lin Shen. This fellow was too strange. Hei Lang had already developed a shadow in his heart. "Little fellow, where did you come from? Why have I never heard of your name in the northern desolate region?" The red-robed elder suddenly asked. His expression was calm, and it was impossible to tell what he was thinking. Lin Shen had long since been prepared for this kind of interrogation. He acted as if he didn't care, as if he was participating in a banquet. "I come from Firmament Tower. At the beginning, I was subdued by the Azura race. After the Azura race died in battle, I became a tomb guardian. It was only when an inheritor appeared in the Azura tomb that I was able to remove my seal and return to the desolate prefecture. Only when I learned that the banquet was about to begin did I head to the central region." "Oh, you actually had such a fortuitous encounter?" The red-robed elder's eyes shone. No wonder this child's talent was peerless. So he had followed the Azura race. This was Long Kuan's experience. Lin Shen directly used its experience to brush it off. He didn't arouse the red-robed elder's suspicions at all. "He actually came from Firmament Tower?" muttered Han Bingling. "No wonder this fellow was so powerful. That was one of the human race's territories. Those who could come out from there were definitely experts amongst experts." 2 hours later, they reached the end of the spatial channel. Boom! The dragon's aura was like a tidal wave, suppressing the 5 of them. The 5 of them all felt different types of pressure, and the 4 dragons revealed a panicked expression. "Haha, this is the divine dragon's aura. You don't have to panic. It's your first time here. You'll get used to it soon." The red-robed elder stroked his beard and smiled. As for Lin Shen, he completely sealed his human aura and looked around carefully. This place was gray and silent. The only thing that could be seen was a dragon altar that stood between heaven and earth. The dragon pillars were carved with ancient dragon patterns, and lifelike ancient dragons were sealed within the pillars. Thousands of dragon chains were cast around the dragon altar, crisscrossing each other. In the center of the dragon altar was a blood pool. The 4 sides were carved with dragon heads. When the dragons opened their mouths, a thin stream of blood-colored energy flowed into the blood pool. Lin Shen's pupils trembled. What an abundance of energy! This was the sacred dragon pond. Chapter 674. Next to the dragon altar were the words Dark Shadow, Heavenly Dragon. This was the holy dragon pond of the Dark Shadow, Heavenly Dragon. Due to the different races that the 5 of you are from, you will be brought to the sacred dragon ponds of 5 different dragon races. You are free to choose one. I'm sure you all know the rules. If you choose a sacred dragon pond of a different race, it means that you will have to join their faction. The red-robed patriarch reminded them seriously. After you choose the holy dragon pond, you will be forced to join the holy dragon pond even if you are of a different race. I hope you will consider carefully. The holy dragon pond of each race contained different energy, but in fact, the holy dragon pond of the 10 great dragon races was suitable for all dragons. For example, the Red Lotus Flame Dragon entering the holy dragon pond of the 10,000-year Black Azure Dragon clan to be baptized was not much different from entering the holy dragon pond of its own race. This was because the ancient holy dragon ancestors had unified and simplified the bloodline inheritance energy. The disadvantage of this method was that it couldn't unleash the full potential of the bloodline. However, it could maximize the potential of all the emerging talents of the dragon races. While everyone nodded, Lin Shun took the opportunity to activate the Golden Eyes Twin technique. Inside the sacred dragon pond, countless bloody energy bubbles could be seen shuttling back and forth like giant dragons. Every drop of energy inside could move mountains, fill seas, and cause mountains and rivers to fall. The energy is very dense. If my Azure Dragon can be baptized, not only will its bloodline attribute increase, but its dragon power will also be greatly enhanced. Its dragon body will be transformed. Lin Shun was exhilarated. This sacred dragon pond was indeed worthy of being the heritage of the 10 great dragon tribes. Perhaps this would be the greatest opportunity in the history of his Azure Dragon clan. By the way, system, can my super-dimensional teleportation enter this independent plane? Lin Shin suddenly asked the system. Answer to the host. Purple tier super-dimensional teleportation can enter as long as the host determines the location. The system's answer gave Lin Shin a crazy and bold idea. Then, the red-robed patriarch continued to lead the team to 4 more holy dragon ponds. There were 5 holy dragon ponds in total. Lin Shin secretly activated the Golden Eyes Twin technique each time. This was because the purple golden eyes could perfectly see which dragon had the most energy from the Holy Dragon Pond. The superdimensional teleportation talent of the purple tier can fix 6 locations, 3 of which are the spiritual state, the barren state, and the godly land. The news that Long Shinbua had chosen the Red Lotus Flame Dragon clan shook the entire central region. No one had expected such a genius of a dragon race to choose the Red Lotus Flame Dragon clan. Had he lost his mind? If he stayed in the 10,000-year profound Azure Dragon clan, he would definitely receive their full support. The higher-ups of the Red Lotus Flame Dragon clan were all dumbfounded. Another peak heavenly genius had fallen from the heavens? The Grand Elders of the 10,000-year profound Azure Dragon clan were so furious that they almost flipped over the battlefield. This little bastard had actually chosen the Red Lotus Flame Dragon clan. What the fuck? Lin Chun ignored the outside world and entered the red-robed ancestor's private room. He began to prepare for his grand plan of showing off. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. In the central region, the Red Lotus Flame Dragon clan's Flame Mountain Range. The flames here were monstrous. Huge flame mountains rose from the ground, burning for millions of miles. The Dragon Palace at the center of the Flame Mountain Range was dazzling. Countless roars rang out, and powerful auras would occasionally appear in the sky. Today was the wedding banquet of the number 1 genius of the Red Lotus Flame Dragon clan, Mo Tianyin. Although it was as crowded as a marketplace with many high-level ferocious beasts, it was far less extravagant than a grand ceremony. After all, the top experts of the Dragon Clan all had their own important matters to attend to. The wedding banquet of the number 1 genius had gathered 2 peak 7th stage Grand Elders. Their strength was comparable to the early 8th stage and the middle 8th stage. It was quite extravagant. Other than the 2 Grand Elders, there were also 10 7th stage combat emperors and a large number of low and middle 7th stage ferocious beasts. The Flame Palace on the mountain range was tens of thousands of feet tall. Many ferocious beasts sat in the palace, and 2 rows of banquet tables were arranged side by side. Everyone is giving me, Mo Tianyin, face by coming here today. Let me toast first. Mo Tianyin, who was wearing a red robe, raised his cup and drank, causing many high-level ferocious beasts to cheer. Beside him was Yin Qianyun, who was in the absolute space. The energy of the absolute space was about to collapse. At that time, she would be completely exposed. With her cultivation, she might not even have the chance to self-destruct in the face of so many 7th stage dragons. Yin Qianyun was slightly nervous. She quietly peeked at a certain figure in the corner. As for that Long Chun Bo, he was sitting in the corner and drinking by himself. He was holding 2 books in one hand and reading them seriously. He didn't seem to care at all. There was a line of words on the cover of the two books, Actor's Self-Improvement and the 10 Most Coquettish Moves of Do Diju. First move, the correct way to pour cappuccino. Second move, a super double move. Third move, silently make a fortune. Fourth move, can't even afford to ask for two. Fifth move, 3 carry 1. Sixth move, a single show. Chapter 675. Is he still not going to take action at this time? Oof. Could it be that he will only be satisfied after seeing me being humiliated by those dragons after the absolute space disintegrates? Yin Qinyun pursed her white teeth, feeling indignant. However, she still believed in Lin Shan in her heart and waited quietly. However, she did not know why, but when she saw his leisurely face as if he did not care about her, there was an inexplicable frustration in the depths of her heart. Dragon Clan, Dragon Tower. In a secret chamber, there was a very unique, mystic, enlightening chi in a blood pool that flowed like a firefly. It was as if it was connected to the 9 heavens and was different from the rest. In the blood pool, 3 cold and awe-inspiring figures stood proudly. Behind them were the figures of 3 ancestors of the Dragon Clan. The blood of 165 fortune tellers. Not bad. The eagle-eyed old man's gaze was stern. If Lin Shan was here, he might be able to recognize that this person was Long Can, the ancestor of one of the 6 fake god families that he had fought before. I hope the true god will be satisfied. The other 2 laughed sinisterly. The ancestor of the Dragon Clan behind them frowned and said indifferently, "According to the rules, we have already collected the fortune teller's blood essence that you requested. When are you going to hand it over? We are only in a cooperative relationship. If you do not comply, I guarantee that you will not be able to leave the barren state." At the end of his words, his killing intent was awe-inspiring. Haha, don't worry. Our great true god is about to descend. How can we owe you a favor? You can rest assured. Our Dragon Clan does not intend to submit to you. Don't talk about true god in front of me. The other 2 ancestors sneered. Long Can's pair of sharp eagle eyes suddenly turned to the 3 of them and laughed. Why? Don't you want to become an 8th level holy dragon? As soon as he said that, the atmosphere in the secret chamber suddenly quieted down. The Flame Mountain range was filled with singing and dancing. At this time, the palace was already a pool of wine and a forest of meat. Low roars could be heard everywhere. Many half-human, half-beast, high-level, ferocious beasts walked in the palace. They were drunk and smelled of alcohol. They were so drunk that they staggered and swayed as they walked. The dragon race was lascivious by nature. Most of them liked to enjoy themselves and collect treasures. A few heavenly rain-winged dragons walked up to the head of the hall and put their arms around Imo Tianyun's shoulders. They lifted their wine jugs and pointed their chins at Yin Qinyun, who was in the absolute space. Hey, Tianyun, this beautiful human girl is really not bad. Won't you give us some soup to drink? Right. If you share it with us, we will also share the human songstress that we captured from Blood Province a few days ago. I'm sure you'll enjoy it so much that you don't want to go back. The heavenly imperial winged dragons, who were half human and half dragon, laughed evilly. Imo Tianyun drank a pot of wine with them, then wiped his mouth and laughed lewdly. No problem. But that's on the premise that I have enough fun first. When the time comes, we can switch. Ha ha ha. Let's have a feast of meat. Ha ha ha. Good brother. You are indeed a good brother. Come. Let's drink again. Yin Qinyun heard everything. Her face was as cold as frost. She coldly scolded, "Shameless. A bunch of beasts." One of the heavenly imperial winged dragon was called Luo Sha. She was a genius of the same generation as Imo Tianyun, and her strength was second only to the former. Luo Sha rubbed her chin and laughed evilly. "Shameless? Then don't cry out too happily when you're under us." Ha ha. Don't worry, these human women all have tough mouths. Once they see our true strength, they'll be obedient. Imo Tianyun and the many heavenly winged dragons were speaking extremely vulgar words while drinking with the many heavenly winged dragons. Those unpleasant obscenities made Yin Qianyun tremble with anger. Tears flickered in her eyes. If she couldn't leave this place alive, she swore that she would pay any price to die so that she wouldn't let these monsters sully her. Long Chenhua slowly closed the book, and the killing intent in his dragon eyes disappeared in an instant. Mo Tianyan, the other one is called Luo Sha, right? I'll let you die very rhythmically. Bang! The sudden explosion shook countless high-tier dire beasts. What was going on? Someone had gone crazy from drinking? This was Mo Tianyan's wedding banquet. Who dared to mess around? Mo Tianyan's eyes instantly became extremely sharp, and he immediately protected absolute space. The two grand elders' dragon eyes shone with a strange light as they suddenly stood up. A hole suddenly appeared in the ceiling of the palace. A silver-robed figure appeared like a ghost on the dragon throne in the main hall. The silver robe fluttered, and the youth's deep eyes seemed to contain the sea of stars. His face was handsome, and there was a cynical smile on his face from beginning to end. Yin Qianyun's beautiful eyes trembled. He really came, but why wasn't it Long Chenhua? Did she recognize him wrongly? Human race? Who are you? How dare you barge into the Red Lotus Flame Dragon tribe? The two grand elders' figures flashed, and they fiercely protected Mo Tianyan as they shouted sternly. The most handsome person in the 9 states, Lin Shen of the spiritual state, is here to pay a visit. The youth smiled, and everyone was shocked. Lin Shen of the spiritual state? Although the news in the barren state wasn't as good as the other states, they had heard of Lin Shen's name. It was said that even the fake god families suffered losses in the hands of this kid. Moreover, how did he sneak in here? Some high-level ferocious beasts sucked in cold air. The Red Lotus Flame Dragon tribe had many barriers, and they were very sensitive to humans. Even an 8th or 9th level combat emperor would find it difficult to sneak in here without making a sound. Lin Shen whistled at Yin Qianyun, who was in the absolute space, and laughed mockingly. Darling Qianyun, I'm not late, am I? Yin Qianyun spat lightly. This indecent guy. How could he joke at this critical moment? Seeing Yin Qianyun and Lin Shen looking at each other affectionately, Mo Tianyan's expression turned gloomy, as if he had eaten shit. Your Excellency Lin Shen, why are you here? A grand elder sternly questioned with a cautious expression because he couldn't see through Lin Shen's true cultivation. Acting tough, robbing, and snatching women. Lin Shen flicked his fingernails and laughed. Mo Tianyan's expression instantly became extremely gloomy. Bang! A loud sound rang out, and the palace shook. A green-robed youth suddenly jumped in front of Lin Shen. His face was filled with anger, and he even hysterically locked on a Lin Shen with overflowing killing intent. It's you? You're Lin Shen? That person was Long Chenhua. Lin Shen slightly raised his brows. What? You don't like it? Long Chenhua crazily questioned. You're the one who kidnapped my wife back then and humiliated her for 49 days. I'm gonna fucking kill you today. F***CK. This human Lin Shen had this kind of fetish? Many ferocious beasts' brows twitched. Humiliated for 49 days? How fierce. Rumble. When the two met, it was as if they were enemies. Long Chenhua suddenly transformed into a 10,000-year profound azure dragon, and a profound light blade directly shot out. Bang! Lin Shen backhanded and smashed the profound light blade. He spun in the air and released the profound azure dragon domain. He raised his claw and attacked. Chapter 676. Bang! 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 Rumble! The terrifying shockwaves from the collision soared into the heavens, forcefully tearing apart the entire palace. A huge battle broke out between the two sides. All the high-ranked beasts retreated and revealed their true forms. It was a mess. Who would have thought that such a calamity would befall the banquet? Two grand elders protected Mo Tianyan. The other elders exchanged glances and gradually transformed into their true bodies, wanting to help Long Chunbua. No matter what, Long Chunbua was still the chosen genius of the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon tribe. They couldn't let anything happen to him. One man and one dragon were extremely fast. The range of the battle continued to expand. Who knew how many high-ranked beasts were affected? They turned into two streaks of light, one white and one green, crisscrossing in the sky. The elders couldn't provide support in time. They were all stunned. Even Yin Qinyun didn't know what was going on. Long Chunbua was fighting Lin Chen? Wasn't that the same as fighting himself? Or did they really mistake him for someone else? What shocked the elders was that Long Chunbua's true strength was so great. He was almost at the level of a mid-7th level combat emperor. 10,000-year profound light blade. The green dragon roared and waved its claws. A 10,000-foot long light blade slashed down. 6th layer transformation, cutting force. Lin Chen smiled evilly. His cultivation base had temporarily advanced to the late 6th layer of the combat emperor realm. His 5 fingers aimed at the profound light blade and struck out. The blade-like chi energy cut through the Azure Dragon's profound light blade and fiercely struck Long Chunbua, causing the dragon scales to burst. Bang! Puchi! Long Chunbua coughed up blood and turned into a green light. Lin Shun turned into a whirlwind, and his right leg smashed into the dragon's body. Bang! Slash! A terrifying shockwave spread out. The cutting force cut through Long Chunbua's defense. Dragon scales cracked and dragon blood spurted out. Long Chunbua was sent flying by Lin Chen's kick. He fell to the ground and crushed a few mountains. All the elders' expressions changed. In just a few rounds, Long Chunbua, who was comparable to an early 7th level combat emperor, was killed. His life and death were unknown. Brother Chun, I'm going to turn your Red Lotus Flame Dragon clan upside down today. Lin Chen grinned hideously. His body turned into a beam of moonlight and rushed towards Immo Tan Yin aggressively. Many of the elders' expressions suddenly changed. Everyone, surround and annihilate him. His strength is close to that of an 8th level combat emperor. Don't let him be impudent. The 2 grand elders who were protecting Immo Tan Yin shouted sternly. All the Dragon Clan elders turned their attention to Lin Chen. This kid was too troublesome. Since the beginning of time, no living creature had ever been able to sneak into the central area of the dragon kind without making a sound, not to mention the core area of the Red Lotus Fire Dragon clan. It was as if he had appeared out of thin air, and no one had detected him. This kind of method was too shocking. They must be eradicated as soon as possible. Quick run. This kid is too strong. Retreat. He's not an existence that we can match. We'll lose our lives if we're too slow. The earth trembled, and the sky turned into countless huge shadows that covered the sky. A large number of high-level ferocious beasts fled frantically, not caring about the situation at the scene. With Lin Chen's strength, he could kill them with a raise of his hand. His strength was close to that of an 8th level combat emperor. In any place in the 9 prefectures, his strength was at the top of the pyramid. Blood Devour. The tens of thousands of feet long blood ray emitted a bone-gnawing sound as it slashed towards Lin Chen. Red Lotus Flame. The sea of fire descended and turned into a pillar of fire. 10 elders and 2 grand elders attacked Lin Chen from all sides. Cutting force. 8 desolate finger. When the 8-colored energy finger and the dragon-like force swept out, a battle that shocked the entire Red Lotus Flame Dragon clan started. Many of the higher-ups of the dragon kind who were in seclusion or carrying out tasks felt the aura of this human in the blazing mountain range. Lin Chen didn't seem to be afraid of death. Each of his attacks was unstoppable. He forcefully blocked the 10 elders and 2 grand elders. But what the dragon kind didn't know was that when almost everyone's attention was focused on Lin Chen, the real body of Long Chunbua that had fallen into the abyss suddenly trembled and turned transparent at lightning speed, disappearing in an extremely strange manner. Consumed 130,000 points of mid-grade rune energy. Heavenly Invisibility Rune successfully activated. Aura has been concealed. Duration, 3 seconds. Cooldown, 40 seconds. The moment the system screen popped up, Lin Shun issued a command. System, activate super-dimensional teleportation. Teleport to Space 4. Whoosh! A streak of light broke through the space above his head, and the Azure Dragon's real body disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already in front of the ancient dragon altar. It was the Red Lotus Flame Dragon clan's sacred dragon pond. Hee, with my acting skills, I'm worth at least 100 million. If I don't get a few Golden Cup awards for Best Male Lead, I'd be too embarrassed to show my face. Long Chimboa laughed mischievously. He really was an actor. From the start, it had all been Lin Shun acting. He wanted Lin Shun to kill Long Chimboa. He didn't want anyone to suspect him. If Lin Shun had descended and started a chaotic battle in the Flame Mountain Range, then Long Chimboa of unknown origins would have immediately disappeared. Chapter 677. Chi. A blood-red mist was emitted. If not for the Azure Dragon's lack of consciousness, the pain would have tormented any powerful being to death. It was no different from throwing oneself into a mountain of swords and a sea of fire to temper oneself. But the effect was also immediate. 720,000 dragon veins. It will reach 730,000 very soon. What a fast speed. Lin Shun was overjoyed. The system screen kept popping up. Obtain 980 Yinglong Bloodline Attribute Points, 1150 Azure Dragon Bloodline Attribute Points, 1290 Yinglong Bloodline Attribute Points, 1400 Azure Dragon Bloodline Attribute Points. It did not stop. Not only were the Dragon Emperor's dragon veins expanding rapidly, but the Bloodline Attribute Points were also increasing rapidly. The sacred dragon pond belonged to the Dragon Clan's land of inheritance. If not for the Dragon Emperor's special method to open it, even a late 9th level combat emperor would not be able to enter. At this moment, none of the higher-ups of the Dragon Clan had expected that Lin Shun, a human, would be able to sneak into the sacred dragon pond and steal its energy. At this rate, the 2 bloodline attribute points will have a chance to break through to 700,000 points. Lin Shun clicked his tongue in amazement. His lips curled up as he sat cross-legged beside the sacred dragon pond. The first phase of the plan has begun, and the second phase has begun. It will take some time to absorb the sacred dragon pond's bloodline baptism. I have to attract all the firepower outside and make as much of a ruckus as possible. Otherwise, once the Dragon Clan's old ancestor finds out about the sacred dragon pond, all my plans will be for naught. Currently, Lin Shun had to avoid facing a 9th level combat emperor. Lin Shen's spiritual consciousness was transferred to the 4 illusionary doppelgangers that he had prepared beforehand. The second round began. In the blazing mountain range, the heavens fell and the earth cracked. This was the first large-scale destruction in the territory of the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon Clan. No one had expected that a human would dare to attack this place. In the void, within 100,000 miles of the blazing mountain range, 12 gigantic dragons were flying around, surrounding a tiny figure that was as small as an ant. With the purple phoenix wings, Lin Shen's speed was astonishing. Even though he could transform into a purple flame at any time, he was still being suppressed and retreating. His injuries were accumulating at a speed visible to the naked eye. This Lin Shun is only SOSO. Mo Tianyin sneered disdainfully. Luo Sha, who was beside Mo Tianyin, laughed evilly and said, "Your strength is not bad, but your brain is not good. With such strength, you dare to barge into the territory of the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon. You should know your limits. If you underestimate him, you might pay a heavy price." At this moment, the absolute beauty within the transparent cube smiled sweetly. Her beauty was unparalleled, and the two of them were distracted for a moment. TSK. Bang! A vast dragon aura exploded in the air. Lin Shen's figure was blasted apart by the 2 Grand Elders. Although his cultivation was at the middle stage of the 6th rank, his battle prowess was at most close to the early stage of the 8th rank. No matter how hard he fought, his opponents were still 10 Fire Dragon Elders and 2 Grand Elders who were at the middle stage and early stage of the 8th stage. Wait a minute, something's wrong. All of a sudden, one of the Grand Elders cried out in shock. The space where Lin Chun had been blasted apart did not leave any trace. It was as if he had evaporated into thin air. Almost at the moment the other party noticed the abnormality, the Dark Calamity battle aura spun like a whirlpool. The space was distorted and collapsed. 2 figures appeared beside Mo Tianyin and Luo Sha like ghosts. The situation happened so suddenly that no one expected it. Mo Tianyin's hair stood on end. He instinctively struck out with his claw, 750 dragon power points, sweeping mountains and rivers. Luo Sha panicked. His palm was like a knife, slashing at the afterimage not far behind him. Charge penetration rune. Ultimate moment. 8 desolation finger. Cutting force of 7 blades. The 2 elusive Lin Chen's bodies were surrounded by a green glow. They attacked fiercely, and energy fingers fell behind Luo Sha. The cutting force was like a dragon. It cut open Mo Tianyin's dragon claw, and dragon blood splattered everywhere. Bang! An earth-shattering explosion resounded through the sky. Mo Tianyin's dragon arm was blown away. His original body was revealed. He was covered in blood and looked like a mess. All the elders were dumbfounded. Mo Tianyin had activated 750,000 dragon veins. With 5 million dragon power points and his foundation, he could even fight against a late 7th level combat emperor. Even if he could not defeat an early 8th level combat emperor, with the strength of his dragon body, it was impossible for his arm to be cut open so easily. There are 2 more Lin Chens? No, these 2 are stronger than the Lin Chun just now. Did this kid hold back his strength? Save young Master Tianyin. While the elders were still in shock, the 2 Grand Elders felt that something was wrong. They turned into a stream of light and rushed toward Mo Tianyin. Rip! An extreme sonic boom and the sound of wind breaking was heard. The shadow of the arrow flashed with lightning. A dark lightning arrow appeared in the sky, spinning a turbulent and tearing wind vortex. It crossed the sky at an extremely fast speed. It only took a moment to cross the distance of 10,000 miles. The hearts of the 2 Grand Elders trembled, and a sense of impending doom welled up within them. There's still an ambush. It's an attack from a top 7th level weapon. Not good. The 2 of them instantly turned into their dragon forms. When they wanted to maintain their strongest state to take the arrow head-on, a grayish-white talisman fell from the sky. Slow talisman, heavenly invisibility talisman. Mirror Moon Imperial God. Rumble. The space froze. The 2 dragons were sealed, and their movements paused. All the chi and blood in their body and the power of more than 800,000 dragon veins were sealed. This strange attack seemed to have been planned in advance. What was even more unexpected to the 2 Supreme Elders was that a mirror moon slash that could divide heaven and earth instantly appeared out of thin air and instantly slashed at the head of the 2nd Supreme Elder. Too fast. It was too strange. There was no time to react. The latter was completely stunned. What rip? Bang. It only took a moment. The light of the arrow fell like the setting sun and pierced through the red lotus flaming dragon. It was delayed by the slow talisman and did not have many defensive methods. It was hit directly, and the light of the arrow pierced through its body. The 10 Grand Elders who did not react took in a breath of cold air. Elder Mo Hong was comparable to a middle 8th level combat emperor. How could he be pierced through by an arrow? He was seriously injured. Crack, crack. Rip. Bones cracked and exploded. Dragon blood spurted out like a pillar. What made the 10 Grand Elders' scalps numb was that the other Grand Elder, Mo Yong, who was comparable to an early 8th level combat emperor, exploded with dragon blood. Hundreds of attribute light balls, most of which were mainly made of chi and blood, rolled in the void. He was beheaded with a single slash. dragon slaying with a single slash. That was Grand Elder Mo Yong, who had 810,000 dragon veins. He was one of the top experts of the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon clan. Even a late 8th level combat emperor would find it difficult to kill him in a single strike. The advantage of a beast was its innate strength. It did not have the strong civilization inheritance like the human race. However, their vitality was unquestionable. Even if it was an opponent who was 1 or 2 levels higher, it was almost impossible to kill them in a single strike. Lin Chen's clone, who was standing on the peak of the Flame Mountain, could not help but reveal a hint of surprise. So powerful, the Heavenly Invisibility Talisman's effect is not inferior to the Slow Talisman. Chapter 678. His dragon eyes trembled violently as he saw the young man, holding the bow on top of a cloud 30,000 miles away. Mo Hong spat out blood and said in a trembling voice, Are you kidding me? For Lin Chen? The heavily injured dragon body fell down and crushed a few mountains. Although Mo Hong avoided being hit in his vital parts, the arrow caused him to lose his ability to move and fight. With the 25% penetration, he was only a hair's breadth away from death. Even Lin Chen didn't expect that the Heavenly Invisibility Talisman would have such a terrifying effect when used in a sneak attack. When he used his full strength, the Mirror Moon Imperial God, there was no sign of its trajectory. With the help of the slowing talisman, it was like a sudden disaster that no creature could defend against. If a sneak attack can increase one's combat strength by 120%, then the Heavenly Invisibility Talisman combined with the Charging Talisman, the Penetration Talisman, and the Slowing Talisman would increase one's combat strength by more than 1,000%. That Red Lotus Flaming Dragon, under normal circumstances, even if I used the 9 Calamity Star, I might not be able to kill it in one move. Lin Chen's expression was agitated. This was another F** King trump card. In the future, when he used a powerful weapon, he would use the Heavenly Invisibility Talisman to hide its aura and attack the enemy silently. That feeling was guaranteed to be awesome. Quick, protect Elder Mo Hong quickly. The remaining 10 dragon elders panicked. Lin Chen's combat strength was terrifying and strange. Either he didn't appear at all, or there were 4 of them. Each of them had the combat strength of a mid-8th layer combat emperor. Other than the patriarch coming out of seclusion, no one could suppress him. However, even though Mo Tianyan was the number 1 genius of the Dragon Clan, it was still difficult to invite the old ancestors to the wedding banquet. Rumble. The wind from the fist swept through the mountains and rivers. Countless mountains were shattered into dust. The wind blew the energy flames in the mountains and turned into a flaming tornado in the sky. Bang! Bang! 2 huge dragons fell down. Their skin and flesh were lacerated and their dragon scales were broken. They fell to the ground and fainted. It was Luo Sha and Mo Tianyan. The 2 number 1 geniuses were suppressed by Lin Chen's doppelgangers. They couldn't fight back at all. Lin Chen, let's retreat quickly. The Red Lotus Flame Dragon clan has already dispatched their experts. After dispelling absolute space, Yin Qinyun anxiously held onto Lin Chen's palm with a worried expression. Hee, don't worry, we still have fun. Lin Chen's avatar chuckled and flicked his finger. The Wood Tribulation Battle Chi materialized and bound the 2 giant dragons. Lin Chen narrowed his eyes. That Mo Hong looked like he was ready to die at any moment. If the fight continued, he would probably self-destruct. The self-destruction of a top-class 7 dire beast was no small matter. The other 2 doppelgangers took a few steps forward and collected all the attribute light balls dropped by the 2 Grand Elders, as well as Mo Yong's Beast Core. Obtain 19 million Qi blood energy, 5 million Qi blood energy, 21. 5 million Qi blood energy, 480 points of fire energy, 490 points of fire energy, 60,000 rune energy, 40,000 talent points, 50,000 heavenly Dao points, 25 million chi blood energy. Lin Chen's dragon power surged. His pure strength broke through 6 million dragon power points, and with the support of the godly strength user, it suddenly shot up to 6,990,000. Boom! The aura of a giant dragon's roar came from Lin Chen's 4 avatars, and the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. The stronger his pure strength, the more powerful his 7 ultimate force would be. As expected of a top-class 7 dire beast, it increased my dragon power by hundreds of thousands in one go. It easily broke through the limit. If I kill a few more, and with the help of the godly strength user, I might have a chance to reach 7 million dragon power points. The many elders of the dragon tribe watched as Lin Chen took away the beast cores. They did not dare to stop him and could only surround Elder Mo Hong to protect him. Go back and tell those old farts of the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon and the Heavenly Imperial Winged Dragon that if they still want their 2 dog asterisk T prodigies, then we'll meet 3 days later at the Hell Volcano. Remember, it's not time yet. If they dare to chase after us, I'll directly kill those 2 dog asterisk T prodigies. Lin Chen laughed heartily. The other 3 avatars tied up Luo Sha and Mo Tianyin and left with Yin Xinyan. None of the elders dared to stop them. With the strength that Lin Chen had just displayed, he could easily kill those 2 prodigies in an instant. They were the future pillars of the Dragon Clan, and they could not bear the consequences. Go back and tell the ancestral patriarchs that the barren state is not going to be peaceful. Mo Hong shouted, and his eyes flashed. From the various unknown methods and strength that Lin Chen had displayed, he did not doubt that this young man who dared to challenge the God family had the strength to shake the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon Clan. Right, where did Long Chenbo go? An elder suddenly looked around in confusion, his expression still a little shaken. That kid seems to have been severely injured by Lin Chen. He might be on the verge of death. Maybe he retreated somewhere to heal. Ignore him and inform the ancestral patriarchs first. What? Lin Chen of the spiritual state invaded? Tianyin was kidnapped? What are you doing? The human girl that Tianyin fancied is from the spiritual state? This kid dares to break into the territory of the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon Clan. How'd he sneak in? In the secret chamber of the Dragon Tower, several powerful ancestral patriarchs questioned sternly. He seems to have a very powerful cloning secret technique. The 3 elders of the Dragon Clan who were reporting the situation were shocked and reported all of Lin Chen's methods respectfully. His clone technique allows him to attack stealthily, and he possesses the secret art of freezing space. His clone technique is indeed as powerful as the rumors say. It is said that he has a special spatial transfer technique. Even those from the godly land could not stop him. Even Luo Sha was taken away. Inform the Tianyu Winged Dragon Clan. This matter is not so simple. We alone might not be able to stop this kid. Then, what about the Sacred Dragon Pond ceremony? Let's put it off for now. Now is not the time to pay attention to the bloodline baptism of those little guys. None of the masters of the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon Clan knew that they had just brushed shoulders with Lin Chen. At this moment, Lin Chen was in the Sacred Dragon Pond, absorbing the energy of the Sacred Dragon Pond together with his Azure Dragon. Beside the Sacred Dragon Pond, Lin Chen opened his eyes, exhaled, and chuckled. The second round is over. Next, I will absorb all the energy of the 2 Sacred Dragon Ponds. Lin Chen's 4 clones rushed out of the territory of the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon Clan as fast as they could. The next afternoon inside the Hell Volcano, Mo Tianyin and Luo Sha gradually regained consciousness. They saw nothing but darkness, and the pain in their bodies told them that what happened yesterday was real. Brother Tianyin and I were defeated by that kid. Were we kidnapped? Luo Sha, who couldn't see anything, panicked. Even her dragon breath was blocked. At this moment, a pleasant voice asked curiously, "What are you going to do with them?" It was Yin Xinyan's voice. Then, Lin Chen's voice was heard. "Fry them." Mo Tianyin and Luo Sha's scalps went numb, and their hearts sank. What the F***CK? Rape them? Are you F asterisk king human? Chapter 679. Crazy. Crazy, crazy. He must be F asterisk king crazy. Luo Sha and Mo Tanyan wailed in their hearts, twisting their dragon bodies and struggling. We are male dragons, and male dragons at that. You, a man, want to rape us? Even storytellers don't dare to brag like this. At this time, Yin Xianyun, who was as innocent as a curious baby, spoke slowly, as if she had returned to her 17-year-old self. Rape? But Lin Shan, don't you like water? The two dragon geniuses felt their scalps go numb, and they shivered from their dragon tails to their heads. Wah, Brother Chun, please be a human. We don't have much water. We really don't have much water. What kind of devil is this? Crossing races and genders, and raping as soon as they meet? It was no wonder that Long Chan Bo had wanted to fight with this bastard as soon as they met. Compared to this legendary monster, Lin Feng, their dragon race was practically insignificant. They couldn't even be compared. At this time, Lin Shen's serious voice echoed in the two dragons' ears, full of seriousness. It's just a bit of water. It doesn't matter how much water there is. Just squeeze it a little. The key is its meat. Is it compact? Is it tender? Is it smooth? Is it able to create textures when it is rubbed and flipped? Is it able to absorb the essence without bleeding? Is it able to improve the quality of its body? This is the key. Wah! The two dragons kept struggling like hysterical beasts. They were terrified, cowardly, and terrified. Crystal clear tears fell from their eyes and dripped to the ground, condensing into a faint dragon jade. Crying? The two famous peerless geniuses in the history of the 10 great dragon clans, as well as the prodigies of their generation, were the overlords of the Barren State, and were even the pinnacle of cultivators outside of the 9 states, who had trampled on countless weak beings, were actually crying at this moment. Mo Tianyan's mouth trembled, and cold sweat poured down. Luo Sha's teeth chattered, like a criminal about to be executed. No, it was 1,000 times more terrifying than the guillotine. It was 2F asterisk king terrifying. At least the guillotine would be faster, and it would be much more satisfying to kill directly. What the hell was this tender? And it was F asterisk king tight? It sounded too horrifying. Most importantly, he had to create textures. What the F asterisk CK do I have to do to get the texture? And it wasn't bleeding? What's more, it had to absorb the essence and improve its quality. Upgrade your head. How is he supposed to sublimate? I know what you're talking about. How are you going to get promoted? Wow. Mama, I want to go home. Kill me with one strike. I don't want to live anymore. The two geniuses roared crazily in their hearts. Their dragon mouths were blocked by something huge, and they couldn't make any sound. They could only make sobbing noises. Wow, you're quite knowledgeable in this area. How do you usually have time to study this? How did you come up with all this? Yin Xianyun turned into a fangirl of worship. Her words were full of admiration for Lin Fan. Of course, it's actual combat. Real experience is summed up in actual combat. Every time I do something like this, I will seriously record it down and plan for myself. Every time I'm done, I will make a good note and make a year-end summary. Improve the shortcomings and add the advantages. Along the way, I've done at least 800, if not 1,000 times. In order to increase the variability, I always choose the male meat because it's more challenging. The toughness of a meat is also more varied. Lin Shen's words caused Luo Sha and Mo Tianyan to completely collapse. How the F asterisk CK could he make a record of this? And plan for himself? What F asterisk king plan for? The two geniuses only had one thought in their minds. In the history of the Dragon Clan, any tyrant, pervert, or evil legend was a pile of F asterisk king trash compared to this guy. They were just a bunch of grandsons. They weren't even fit to carry Lin Fan's shoes. Improve the shortcomings and add the advantages? This thing had advantages and disadvantages. The most incredible thing was that it could be used for a year-end summary. The most terrifying thing was that he did it thousands of times. And he specifically chose the male meat? Too cruel. Too cruel. Crazy. He was definitely not human. He was the F***king ultimate pervert. Yin Qinyun asked again. Then do you have any secret recipes when you do this? Lin Chen slapped his thigh. The two geniuses were so shocked that they were on tenterhooks. Of course I do. Look at this spear of mine. It's covered with my exclusive cream essence. It can make the meat soft and smooth. It's guaranteed to be delicious. F***CK. What kind of SH**TTY spear is that? What is it covered with? Then when you encounter a bottleneck, have you ever considered doing something else? You always do this. Don't you get tired of it? Yin Qinyun asked again. Lin Fan's voice sounded serious as he sighed. How can I get tired of it? It's a blessing to be able to find something you like the most in your life and have the opportunity to spend time and energy on it. The two geniuses instantly quieted down. They were completely dumbfounded. It turns out that the thing you like the most in your life is this kind of thing. Lin Shun, you are not alone. You are the peak of all the perverts in the 9 prefectures. The two geniuses of the dragon race were twitching all over. As their bodies twitched, white foam came out of their mouths. They had completely fainted from fright. Perhaps in their eyes, death was an incomparably blissful thing. To these two geniuses, it was a release. They had the courage to face death, but they did not have the courage to face Lin Shun, because they did not dare to imagine what they would have to face next. It was to give this Master Lin a year-end summary. How crazy was that? This had completely exceeded the bottom line of their psychological tolerance. Outside the valley, a dark shadow appeared quietly like a bat under the night sky and disappeared quietly. Lin Shun, who had set up a bonfire, raised his eyebrows. He ignored them and continued to fry the dragon meat on the bonfire. He chuckled, but a trace of coldness flashed through his heart. How dare you touch my Lin Chen's people? Today, I will let these two F***king geniuses know what it means to beg for death, but not be able to beg for life. If Lin Shun had not directly attacked the enemy and saved Yin Qinyun, she would have been humiliated to an unimaginable degree by Mo Tan Yin and Luo Sha. With her strength, she could not even self-destruct in front of such strong cultivators. In this regard, Lin Shun did not feel sorry for these two people. He wanted them to pay a price worse than death. Against his enemies, Lin Shun had never been soft-hearted. In the Dragon Tower, many strong cultivators of the dragon race had gathered. Is he really staying in the Hell Volcano? What scheme is this brat up to? Could it be an ambush? That's not very likely. It's fine if he can sneak in here alone, but I don't believe that he can bring a large group of strong cultivators to sneak into our territory. No matter what scheme he has, when the strong cultivators of the Tianyu winged dragon race arrive, our two races will join forces, and we will not be afraid of this brat. Kill him. The territories of the top 10 dragon races were extremely vast. Even if the top cultivators were to send a message, it would take a certain amount of time for them to arrive, let alone a round trip. The Barren State was the largest in the 9 states. Its area was close to the combined area of 2 large states. The dragon race alone occupied more than 50% of the land, which was equivalent to the size of the spiritual state. Although the top 10 dragon races of the Barren State had many strong cultivators, the number of strong cultivators that could rival the battle emperors could even rival the human battle emperors of 4 large states. Chapter 680. However, the territories of the 10 great dragon clans were complex and intertwined. It would take a long time for them to act as one. They could only gather the Tianyu winged dragon to face Lin Chen together. The next day after Lin Chen's situation was reported, and the third day after Lin Shun kidnapped Mo Tianyin and Tianyin. In the sky above the dragon pagoda, a crack appeared in the space. With a boom, waves of energy came out from the crack. 10 stars with an overwhelming aura came out from the crack. What happened, Mo Tianming? How long has it been since my son came to your place? A middle-aged man with ice-blue dragon horns and silver-white dragon scale armor asked in a deep voice, "What does it have to do with me? Go find that Lin Shun from the spiritual state. My Tianyin was also kidnapped by him." The red-haired man, standing at the top of the dragon pagoda, snorted. He was the current patriarch of the Red Lotus Flame Dragon clan, Mo Tianming. The blue-horned man frowned. "It's that Lin Shun from the spiritual state again. Recently, there have been many rumors about him in the 9 states. I would like to see how capable he is today." "Don't talk nonsense. My people are all here. If your people have no problems, let's set off immediately." Mo Tianming led a dozen elders and flew into the sky. All of them were experts, and the weakest of them was comparable to an elder in the late 7th level. There were 4 peak 7th level beasts that could match an 8th level combat emperor, including Mo Tianming himself, an old ancestor, and 2 9th level combat emperors. There were 6 peak 7th level beasts. On the Chanyu Winged Dragon clan's side, there was only 1 9th level combat emperor, 5 8th level combat emperors, and 4 late 7th level combat emperors. Because both sides knew of Lin Chen's strength, and because it was related to the development of the future bloodline of both clans, they were basically all experts at the top of the pyramid. The Chanyu Winged Dragon clan's experts followed closely behind. Everyone's target was the Hell Volcano at the border of the Red Lotus Flame Dragon clan's territory, in the Sacred Dragon Pond where the Chanyu Winged Dragon clan was. Roar! Roar! Coo! Coo! The Dragon Emperor in the Sacred Dragon Pond swayed his tail and soared into the sky. His entire body flowed with azure light, and green light rushed into the clouds. Terrifying and deep killing intent flashed in the dragon eyes. Every dragon scale on the Dragon Emperor's body glowed with a brilliant dragon's breath. His aura was like that of a wild dragon coming into being, overlooking billions of living beings. Boom! Lin Shun, who was sitting cross-legged beside the Sacred Dragon Pond, suddenly opened his eyes. Draconic light flashed, and draconic chi coiled above his head. There was a vague image of the draconic race's ruins being destroyed, calming the spring and autumn seas. "Who?" Lin Shen let out a long breath and withdrew all of his aura into his body. "It's done. In less than 3 days, I've just finished absorbing the energy of the 2 Sacred Dragon Ponds. I didn't expect that my main body would be able to absorb the energy of the Sacred Dragon Ponds with the help of the Azure Dragon bloodline." He couldn't hide the surprise in his eyes. He originally estimated that he would need more time to go through this bloodline baptism. He didn't expect that after activating the Azure Dragon bloodline, he could use the Azure Dragon's body to transfer to his main body and also absorb the energy of the Sacred Dragon Pond. This was probably the first time in the history of the dragon race that a creature other than the dragon race had received the baptism of the Sacred Dragon Pond. Now, the energy of the 2 Sacred Dragon Ponds had completely dried up. It would be difficult to condense enough energy to baptize a super dragon race member for at least 10,000 years. The 2 dragon races had suffered a great loss. The Azure Dragon has already opened 890,000 dragon veins, and his pure strength has reached 899 million. His combat power is close to that of a 9th-stage combat emperor. Lin Shen was excited. In the bloodline column, the Azure Dragon and Winged Dragon bloodlines had both exceeded 3 million bloodline attribute points. It was 10 times faster than the original. Even Lin Chen didn't expect this result. The perfect fusion of 2 super dragon bloodlines could only be described as unprecedented and unparalleled in the future. The increase in bloodline attribute points meant that the limit of growth and talent had increased. Lin Shen's many dragon race abilities had undergone a qualitative leap and transformation. It was extremely difficult for a late-phase combat emperor to fight someone with a higher cultivation level. If it wasn't for the increase in bloodline attribute points and the increase in talent of the Azure Dragon, even if the Azure Dragon originally had 899 million dragon power, combined with the Winged Dragon, Azure Dragon, and Purple Phoenix bloodlines, he could only contend with an early-phase combat emperor. It It was as difficult as ascending to the heavens to defeat someone with a higher cultivation level. But now, the 2 bloodline attribute points had exceeded 3 million. Even if he had 99 million dragon power, he wouldn't be afraid of a 9th phase combat emperor. And the increase in his body wasn't inferior to the Azure Dragon at all. This time, with the baptism of the Sacred Dragon Pond, I have obtained 6 billion points of intermediate blood chi energy. My body's dragon power has soared from 1 million to 99 million. With the help of the divine force, I now have 3 million dragon power. This pure strength was comparable to an early phase combat emperor. After killing the dragon race's grand elder, Mo Yong, and severely injuring Mo Hong, Lin Shun had only obtained slightly more than 100 million points of intermediate blood chi energy. The absorption of the Sacred Dragon Pond this time was equivalent to the attribute points that Lin Shun had obtained after killing more than 16 7th phase combat beasts that were comparable to an early phase 8th phase combat emperor. It was exactly because of this that the 2 Sacred Dragon Ponds had been completely refined by him and the Azure Dragon. Now, Lin Shen's strength had reached a terrifying level. A late phase 8th phase combat emperor was no longer a match for him. The Azure Dragon alone was comparable to an early phase 9th phase combat emperor. My doppelganger has sensed that the experts of the 2 dragon races have begun to move. The 3rd round, Get Rich Silently, has ended. The 4th round, Consecutive Matches. Let's begin. Lin Shen smiled confidently. He waved his hand and carved a line of words on the dragon pillar beside the dragon pond. Then, Lin Shun activated his super-dimensional teleportation skill. The 6th spatial position was the location of the Blazing Mountain. It was extremely close to the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon Race's base camp. He was going to go back to his old profession and strip the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon clan clean. What a joke. Now was the time when the top power of the Red Lotus Flame Dragon clan was greatly reduced. Even the clan leader of the Red Lotus Flame Dragon clan had personally come to the Hell Volcano. After today, if there's even a single hair left in the Red Lotus Flame Dragon storehouse, I'll write my name backwards. Let them know what Operation Light Disc is. Wherever we go, leave nothing behind. Lin Shen licked his lips and smiled slyly. His entire body was covered in a light green dragon's breath, and he disappeared and turned transparent. With my current cultivation as a Dragon Emperor, the Azure Dragon Vanishing Shadow that I use might not even be discovered by someone in the late 9th stage. What the hell? If you dare to have any ideas about Qian Yun, I will strip you of your Red Lotus Flame Dragon's underwear until nothing is left. Lin Shun used the roaming dragon frightening movement technique, and his figure was like a floating dragon as he rushed into the void. No matter how the Red Lotus Flame Dragon clan hid their storehouses, they couldn't hide from Lin Shen's pair of 66K pure gold treasure eyes. All the secret rooms, halls, secret pavilions, underground secret rooms, and hidden independent spaces that hid treasures were all exposed in front of Lin Shen's golden eyes twin. In front of the door of an underground secret pavilion, Lin Shun, who had turned transparent, felt his heart tremble, just based on the many heavenly treasures and auras captured by the Golden Eyes twin. The Red Lotus Flame Dragon clan's foundation was probably even richer than the Han family's. Chapter 681. My goodness, the Dragon Clan is the Dragon Clan after all. The resources in the Barren State are vast and limitless. Not to mention the inventory of one of the top 10 dragon clans. How many treasures have these guys collected? Lin Shen swallowed his saliva, and his eyes lit up. The dragon clan loved to collect all kinds of treasures, not to mention such a huge clan. Coupled with the rich resources in the Barren State, they had accumulated a huge amount of treasures in their inventory. Many rare heavenly treasures, Xian materials, 9-pattern blood fire jade, 10,000-year Bodhi heart, 10,000 flames holy liquid, glazed gold essence, holy dragon transformation saliva, and so on. These heavenly treasures were enough to set off a bloody storm in the Jojo continent. They were everywhere. Most of them were paid by the subordinate forces of the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon clan, where the top treasures accumulated in their own territories. Although the Hun family was strong, it was only established after the ancient times. Moreover, it was indirectly interfered by the false god and not directly established. In terms of foundation, it was still lacking. If the Hun family's wealth was to collect all kinds of treasures, such as cultivation techniques, handprints, rare ores, and elixirs, then the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon clan's inventory was a large warehouse of medicinal herbs. Most of them were heavenly treasures. The spatial enchantment here is more complicated, and the dragon breath of the Dragon clan's ancestors is left behind. I can't take it by force. I still have to rely on the decomposition function. Since that's the case, I'll turn them all into my attribute points. The Hell Volcano was one of the most dangerous areas of the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon clan. The intensity of the fire energy here was more than 10 times that of other top-secret realms. The ferocious beast that entered had to be at least of the 7th rank. It was because of this reason that it was named the Hell Volcano. It was as hot as hell. Even the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon clan, which was born with the fire attribute, dared not approach it without the strength of the 7th rank. One of Lin Chen's doppelgangers stood on top of the many volcanic craters. When he looked towards the southwest, a small group of black shadows was slowly expanding. Are they here? Just the combat strength of the 9th rank combat emperor alone. There are 2 of them. They really think highly of me. The doppelganger smiled. He couldn't wait for more strong people to come. That way, he would have more opportunities to wipe out the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon clan. Lin Chun, where's my son? If you hurt him, I guarantee that you won't be able to leave the barren state. The dragon's roar shook the heavens, and a cold rebuke exploded like muffled thunder. The dark silhouettes on the horizon were enlarging rapidly. The 2 dragon experts were already within 500,000 miles of Lin Chun. A red light flashed across his eyes. When Mo Tianming took a closer look, he almost fumed with anger. The corners of the mouths of the Heavenly Winged Dragon clan's experts twitched violently as they cursed Lin Chun. Inside the Hell Volcano, 2 enormous dragons were suspended in the 2 craters. 2. Lin Chun held Luo Sha and Mo Tianyan's dragon bodies and swung them back and forth. Boom! Boom! The gigantic dragon body continued to rotate in a circular manner, bringing with it a large amount of raging winds that swept up numerous flaming tornadoes. Being covered by water calamity battle chi, the beauty jumped back and forth in the air, jumping over the swaying dragon body under her feet. 997998999. Yes, raise your butt higher, raise your legs a little more, and simplify your movements. Lin Chen's clone at the side clapped his hands and shouted. The beauty rolled her eyes at him and kept jumping over the swaying dragon body. Such a scene was rarely seen in 10,000 years, and they were actually jumping rope. Luo Sha and Mo Tianyan were actually being used as jumping rope above the craters of 2 volcanoes. What F** King jumping rope? The number 1 prodigy of the Heavenly Winged Dragon clan and the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon clan, overlord-level prodigies who led an era, were actually being used as jumping rope by Lin Chun. F***CK. Lin Chun, how dare you look down on the dignity of the Dragon clan? F***CK. You lowly human dog. Are you courting death? The clan leaders of the 2 dragon tribes were so angry that smoke was coming out of their 7 orifices. They even transformed into their true forms. Their killing intent soared to the sky as they roared at Lin Chun. Bang! 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 The terrifying dragon roar shattered countless volcanoes and turned them into lava. It was as if a natural disaster was about to descend. The 2 clan leaders had lived for more than 100,000 years and had seen all kinds of big scenes. However, they had never experienced such humiliation. The prodigies of their clan were actually being used as jumping rope. Not only was this F** King shameful, but it was also shameful to the ancestors. This was too much. The eyes of the elders behind them were all red and bloodshot. They had all entered a state of near madness. "Wait a minute. If you come any closer, I'll kill the two of them in a minute," Lin Chun abruptly roared, and his mental energy rippled outwards. He forcefully regained some sense of rationality. With the white frost green rainbow and the Nethermoon heavenly crystal in his hands, the two doppelgangers stood by Luo Sha and Mo Tan Yan's dragon heads. Their swords and blades were pressed against their necks. At this distance, neither side had a chance to save them. "What do you want?" Mo Tianming roared angrily. His dragon breath was like a tide that could crush Lin Chun at any time. "Keep your distance. If you dare to cross the line, I guarantee that you won't even be able to bring their bodies back." There was a hint of warning in his calm tone. The two clan leaders could feel that Luo Sha and Mo Tanyan were on their last breaths. Their blood essence and energy were depleted, and they were seriously injured. Even their dragon tendons had been pulled out. In such a state, it was very easy to die. If they tried to snatch them back, it would be very difficult for them to take them back. But no matter what, as long as they could stay alive, there was still hope. The two dragon clans had poured in a lot of effort and resources to nurture them. No matter what, nothing could happen to them. "What's the rush? Come. Let's sit down and talk." Lin Chun crossed his legs in the void with a smile on his face and waved his hand. A clone instantly stepped out. Its speed was tens of thousands of miles away in a few flashes. In less than 10 breaths, it had already moved close to 200,000 miles. His speed caused the eyes of the experts from the two dragon clans to shrink slightly. It was no wonder that this lad could cause the Hun clan to suffer. "Kid, what do you want to talk about?" Mo Tianming's eyes were ruthless. He was about to release his murderous aura at any moment. With his battle strength, no one below the mid-9th level was a threat. Other than the Dragon Clan elders who were comparable to the late 9th level, he was practically the strongest. "I'm very sincere. I just don't know if you're sincere," Lin Chun said with a carefree smile. Beside Mo Tianming, the patriarch of the Heavenly Imperial Winged Dragon Clan, Luo Yu, asked with an indifferent expression. "State your conditions." Lin Chun raised his finger and laughed. "First, I want all the treasures and resources accumulated in your clans. Don't worry, I'll let my clone follow you back to your clans to retrieve the treasures. I guarantee that our transaction will be fair and just." When he said this, it was so quiet that it was a little strange. Bulsh asterisk T. This is F asterisk King's sincerity? Fair and just. The entire clan's resources and lifeline will be given to you? And this is only the first thing? This ridiculous condition is only the first. There's still more to come? Why don't you F asterisk King ascend to the sky and stand shoulder to shoulder with the sun? Chapter 682. Almost all the experts' expressions turned gloomy and cold in an instant. Mo Tianming sneered as his extremely cold dragon eyes restrained his killing intent. "If this is the condition, then there's no need for us to talk." Luo Yu said, "Looks like you don't plan on returning them to us." Lin Chun of the human race. Could it be that there's some deep enmity between our two races that's worth you offending us? Aren't you the patriarchs? You can't even solve such a small problem? Lin Chun was surprised. "I suspect that you're really stupid or just pretending to be stupid. If this is the condition, then why don't we fight to the death now?" Mo Tianming roared in disdain. As the patriarch of a race, he naturally had his bottom line. Although the experts of the two races were the ones with the highest authority, they did not have the qualifications to decide on their own whether to use all the resources for this transaction. This was related to the continuation of the dragon race's development. Lin Chen's condition was completely non-negotiable. This condition was too ridiculous. He was just stalling for time. He knew that the dragon race would not do anything that would harm their heritage. If the two patriarchs were so easily swayed by their emotions, then they would not be the leaders of the two great dragon races. Then I'll take a step back. All of your storage rings in exchange for their lives. How about it? Lin Chen smiled mockingly. His purpose was to anger them and disrupt their rhythm and reason. Our storage rings? You have a big appetite. Luo Yu's dragon eyes flashed. He exchanged a glance with Mo Tianming, who was beside him. If we hand over our storage rings, will you obediently let them go? The furious Mo Tianming roared. The dragon's roar turned into sound waves that shook the earth and shook the mountains. The might of the dragon race's patriarch was fully displayed. I promise to let them go. Lin Chen smiled meaningfully. In this transaction, everyone had their own thoughts. Forget it, Luo Yu will hand it over. The lives of these two brats are more important. Mo Tianming's straightforwardness was a little strange. After he agreed, the Grand Elders looked at each other and handed over their storage rings. Hand over the rings and let them go. No problem. Lin Shun snapped his fingers, and the two doppelgangers flew over with the two dragons. Take it. Mo Tianming flung out his hand, and more than 20 storage rings shot towards Lin Shun. When he raised his hand to catch them, the wind and clouds suddenly changed. Bang! All of a sudden, a volcano erupted, bringing up a stream of fire without any sign, rushing towards the two clones of Lin Shun. Two streams of fiery red dragon chi darted out like two battle spears. In order to protect themselves, Lin Shen's two clones launched a 7 deadly tearing force backhandedly. Boom! The dragon's breath exploded, and the two doppelgangers were knocked back hundreds of miles. The blazing lava swept away Mo Tianyin and Luo Sha. Right at this moment, Lin Shen's clone, who was in charge of the negotiations, suddenly made a grabbing motion and forcefully snatched the storage ring away. Infinite's silent step appeared beneath his feet. Attack! Almost in an instant, all the actions were linked together. After confirming that the aura had saved Luo Sha and Mo Tianyin, Mo Tianming and the others immediately attacked. Many attacks were directed at Lin Shun. Bang! 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 Space trembled. Every step of Lin Shen's was extremely mysterious. His speed was extremely fast, like a jumping star. The attacks of Mo Tianming and the other experts completely missed. Currently, he could already reach the late stage of the 7th layer when using the 7 layers transformations. Coupled with the infinite silent step at the final moment, and the fact that both parties maintained a certain distance from each other, the destructive dragon's breath did not even touch him. Damn it, this kid's movement technique is actually a few levels faster. Luckily, we saved them. A stream of light flashed back to the two dragon tribes' camps. The red-robed elder appeared with Mo Tianyin and Luo Sha. He was the Red Lotus Flame Dragon Patriarch who had presided over the ceremony that day. His understanding of the Red Lotus Flame Dragon's mystical abilities and the Hell Volcano far exceeded any expert in the tribe. He could freely transform into lava and sneak into the dark to save the two geniuses. Thank you for your help, Patriarch. The many grand elders expressed their gratitude. The red-robed elder nodded and said seriously, "You guys protect the two little fellows. We'll get rid of this kid. This kid is extraordinary. We can't let him stay here. Take back the storage ring." Damn it, I didn't expect this guy to risk his life to snatch the storage ring. Mo Tianming roared angrily. The three experts transformed into their true forms. 3 ancient dragons comparable to 9th layer combat emperors appeared out of nowhere. The situation of the battle changed rapidly. They surrounded Lin Shen's 4 doppelgangers in an instant. I miscalculated. He's still a top-tier dragon tribe after all. The ultimate restoration was activated. The 4 doppelgangers quickly recovered their battle chi. The leading doppelganger smiled. The other doppelganger protected Yin Qianyun and retreated rapidly. You want to leave? The red-robed patriarch's dragon claw shattered the universe. 2 tens of thousands of feet long fiery red claw marks reversed yin and yang, slashing towards Yin Qianyun and the doppelganger beside her like a sharp blade. A wisp of faint, pure, white flame extinguished the horizon. Her slender, jade-like hand lightly pressed into the void. With a bang, the fiery red claw marks were shattered into fragments that filled the sky. They turned into flaming meteors that fell into the hell volcano and shattered the earth veins. The beauty's white dress fluttered like smoke. She was not affected by the heavens and earth. She was elegant and otherworldly. Even a banished immortal was like this. Such a woman was peerless in her generation. The patriarch squinted his dragon eyes and said in astonishment, "Early ninth layer combat emperor, the power of the eternal sacred flame?" This woman in a white dress who was as beautiful as a fairy was shockingly Byroyan. Previously, she had been in seclusion within the sacred flame realm. If Lin Shan was in danger, she would take the initiative to appear. If Lin Shan sneaked in to save someone, her current state would be the best. "Sister Oyan, I'll leave this old thing to you," the three doppelgangers requested. Byroyan glanced at them with slight annoyance. This little brother Lin Shan was really troublesome. It was hard to distinguish between the real and fake doppelgangers. She didn't even know which one to protect. However, he has his own plans. Just trust him. Byroyan turned to look at the patriarch. The patriarch said solemnly, "There are many who have received the sacred flame's blessing. However, according to what I know, there shouldn't be anyone in the 9 provinces who can truly control the power of the eternal sacred flame. Who exactly are you?" Byroyan pointed at the youth in the void and smiled sweetly. It was as if the heavens and earth had lost their color. "His woman." Lin Chun coughed lightly. "Cough, cough. Keep a low profile. Keep a low profile." Yan Qianyun was expressionless. She pinched the waist of the doppelganger beside her and said calmly, "First it's Miss Ning, and now it's this Sister Fairy. You're very popular, aren't you? SOSO, #1 in the 9 provinces." Boom! The 2 patriarchs surrounded Lin Chen's 3 doppelgangers. He was ready for battle. With his current 3 million dragon power points, he might still be a little lacking when using the late-stage 6th heaven of the 7 transformations. However, if he just wanted to delay them for a while, then he still had a chance. Yan Qianyun's expression was solemn. Even she couldn't tell what Lin Shan was trying to do. When he kidnapped those 2 fellows previously, he clearly had a chance to escape. Why did he provoke these terrifying dragon patriarchs now? 9 provinces' most handsome Lin. I'm here today to learn the strength of the 2 dragon patriarchs. Lin Shan laughed heartily. His 3 doppelgangers rushed into the sky and pointed at the sky above the hell volcano. Chapter 683. In the sky, the 2 auras collided like the sun and the moon. The terrifying momentum startled countless top experts. They looked at the hell volcano in horror. A top-level battle actually broke out in the territory of the Dragon Clan. This was the territory of the top 10 Dragon Clans. Who dared to behave atrociously here? Boom! 3 8-colored chaotic energy fingers pointed forward. With the support of the charging and penetrating runes, the fingers flattened thousands of miles of mountains and rivers. Originally, this combat skill was not even at the high-level purple rank. However, with Lin Shen's 9 Tribulations War Body, the ultimate moment, and the enhancement of the 2 great runes, the combat skill was at least at the high-level purple rank. Your combat skill is very strong. Unfortunately, your cultivation base is too trashy. Break! The 2 patriarchs spat out a dragon breath angrily. One was water and the other was fire. Like an yin-yang wheel, they shattered the 3 8 desolate fingers, obtained 1,980 points of fire elemental energy, 2,340 points of water elemental energy, 390 points of spiritual power, 45 million points of battle chi essence, 69 million points of blood essence, 45 million points of blood essence, 30,000 points of talent, 40,000 runes of energy. I still need some time. My attributes are soaring. Lin Chen's doppelganger was delighted. The speed of his attributes soaring could only be described with one word: ridiculous. Rip. A terrifying sonic boom suddenly exploded. Two of Lin Chen's doppelganger used the infinite silent step and approached the two patriarchs of the Dragon Clan. Is he courting death? What kind of joke is this? Fighting in close combat with the two patriarchs? Even the elders who were protecting the two geniuses sucked in a breath of cold air. Fighting in close combat with top-level beasts was something that none of the top experts in the 9 prefectures dared to do, because the strongest part of a beast was its body. Was he, a late 6th-level combat emperor, trying to rebel? Should we assist the patriarchs? No. Without the patriarch's orders, we can't attack easily. This kid's speed is very troublesome. He still has another doppelganger. Many of the Supreme Elders wanted to capture the 4th doppelganger, but they were stopped by a gray-robed elder with a serious expression. The battle prowess Lin Chen displayed now was truly terrifying. The strength of each clone was comparable to a late 8th-level combat emperor. If his clones had the same combat strength, then the clones that were protecting Yin Qinyun would be the same as well. With their strength, they wouldn't be able to stop him. Cutting force of 7 blades. The wind from his fist cut through the universe, and 3 million dragon energy points landed on the two clan leaders' bodies. 2 sharp shock waves exploded. Boom! Boom! The two clan leaders were actually knocked back several kilometers, their dragon eyes revealing a trace of disbelief. This kid's control of pure power was so exquisite that it was even better than theirs. The most terrifying thing was that his attacks actually had a power that could penetrate their dragon scales and dragon veins, directly penetrating their bodies. Fortunately, the bodies of the two clan leaders were strong. Otherwise, even the two of them would have suffered light injuries. If this kid can control more than 99 million dragon power points, the pure destructive power he can unleash will threaten even me. He is indeed a monster. Kill. Boom. When the dragon breaths of water and fire surged out from the bodies of the two clan leaders, Lin Chen's 2 clones pushed out their hands with lightning speed. Slow rune. The rune energy dropped by 2 million points. 2 grayish-white runes fell from the sky, and the two clan leaders' movements suddenly became stiff. The power of the dragon veins was confined and the space was frozen, causing them to be astonished. What kind of move is this? Cutting force of 7 blades. Lin Chen's clone once again used the cutting force of 7 blades and fiercely slammed it towards the dragon's abdomen. Chi! The wind from the fist that cut through the shock waves rushed towards the sky. This palm actually pushed the two clan leaders back again. However, the actual injuries were still only superficial wounds. The defense of the dragon body was extremely hard. It was so hard that Lin Chen's scalp went numb. As expected of the creatures that stand at the peak of the 9 prefectures. However, I still have one more move. Activating the heavenly invisibility rune to eliminate the host's attack. 150,000 rune energy points consumed. Cooldown time, 40 seconds. After the successful attack, the two clones retreated with lightning speed. As the dark light shuttled back and forth, it was as if a wind dragon was roaring. Bang! Just as the two clan leaders broke free from the restraints of the slowing rune, 2 streaks of arrow light burst forth with a dragon's roar and fell towards the dragon's eyes. This dark lightning arrow light came without any warning, and even the two clan leaders were stunned for a moment. Rip! Chi! The arrow light pierced through, and dragon blood violently splattered. Roar! The dragon's painful roar resounded through the heavens and earth, and many of the Supreme Elders were suddenly shocked. The two clan leaders were actually injured. After taking away the extremely high-quality attribute light balls dropped by the two clan leaders, Lin Chen's mid-level chi and blood increased by another 90 million points. The third clone, 80,000 miles away, pulled the Emperor Wind bow. His silver robe fluttered, and he was extraordinarily handsome, like a divine archer that appeared in the world. His pupils were as sharp as an eagle's gaze. The heavenly invisibility rune is indeed powerful. My clone is still unable to fight against an early ninth heaven combat emperor, but with the magical effect of the heavenly invisibility rune, as long as I hit the weakest point of the opponent's defense, I still have a chance to injure the ninth heaven combat emperor. The two clones' faces were filled with excitement, and their auras were surging wildly, as if they had nothing to lose and were not afraid of wearing shoes. They attacked the two clan leaders again, and many of the elders of the Dragon Clan felt their scalps go numb. They had never seen such a human combat emperor, fighting the Dragon Clan leaders again and again in close combat. What's going on? His aura is gradually rising. The eyes of the two clan leaders trembled. They could clearly feel that the four Lin Chun in front of them, whether it was the body refining dragon force or the battle chi cultivation, they were all like a raging storm. Even the heavenly calamity combat body that he revealed was glowing with a kind of pressure that made one's heart palpitate. Could it be that he could still level up in battle? Wasn't this 2F* King ridiculous? On the other side, in the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon clan, within the four dragon palaces, a figure was unobstructed, like a hot knife through butter, continuously activating the decomposition function, consumed 4,500 heavenly Tao points, 9,800 heavenly Tao points, for 1,100 heavenly Tao points, obtained 15 million battle chi essences, 39, 5 million blood essence, 40,000 heavenly Tao points, 50,000 talent points, 12, 5 million blood essence, 14, 89 million blood essence, 1,580 fire essence, 1,950 wood essence, 300 blank attribute points, 890 spiritual power. All the treasures that were sealed in the secret pavilion were all collected by Lin Chun. Everything that his palm touched, no matter what kind of enchantment there was, as long as it did not have an owner, would be decomposed. Endless attribute points turned into essence and surged into Lin Chen's body, and the speed at which his attribute point soared could be said to be abnormal. The Dragon Clan's collection was too rich. It contained all kinds of top-grade treasures, and it had everything. Along the way, Lin Chun had obtained a total of 400 million points of intermediate battle chi essence, 500 million points of intermediate blood essence, 40,000 points of intermediate spiritual energy 8, 9 million talent points 7, 5 million heavenly Tao points 4, 45 million cultivation soul essences 6, 75 million rune energy, and 4,450 blank attribute points. However, these attribute points were not the most important. Among all the attribute points, the most important and terrifying increase was the intermediate elemental attribute points. The Dragon Clan's heritage was very rich, and there were too many different kinds of top-grade treasures hidden in their collection. Many of the top-grade treasures were extremely precious, and only the elders or grand elders who had made great contributions to the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon clan were qualified to enjoy them. All of them were completely decomposed by Lin Chun, other than the two rare attributes, light and darkness, which had an average increase. Lin Chen's other 7 intermediate elemental attributes had all increased by 200,000 points. All of them had doubled. Chapter 684. All 7 mid-level elemental attributes had increased by more than 200,000 points. What kind of concept was this? Lin Chen's 9 elemental attributes were only about 190,000 points on average. After this round of looting, Lin Chen's mid-level elemental attributes had doubled. The 9 calamities of creation's mental cultivation method had doubled in all aspects. The increase in the mental cultivation method meant that the power of all Lin Chen's cultivation methods had doubled. This was the benefit of increasing one's elemental attributes. The reason why the ultimate moment talent could only double the power of cultivation methods, but quadruple the power of cultivation methods, was because it first doubled the foundation of the mental cultivation method, then doubled the power of the cultivation method. The power of the 9 calamities star had also skyrocketed. Boom, boom, Almost at the same time, a battle aura glow and a storm-like spiritual storm shone from between Lin Chen's eyebrows. The azure dragon mirage couldn't hide it at all. Heavenly Invisibility Rune. Lin Chen hurriedly activated the Heavenly Invisibility Rune, eliminating all the battle aura and spiritual fluctuations. He had almost exposed his own aura. Good heavens, this round of battle aura essence has allowed me to break through to the late stage of the 5th stage. Moreover, my spiritual power has finally reached the middle stage of the Heavenly Ascension Realm. Lin Chen was excited. The middle stage of the Heavenly Ascension Realm meant that he now met the minimum requirements to practice the Annihilation Secret Manual. The cultivation of spiritual power was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Lin Chen's mid-level spiritual power attribute of more than 50,000 points was already at the peak of the initial stage of the Heavenly Ascension Realm. However, he had forcefully broken down countless treasures in the Dragon Clan and finally obtained 40,000 points of spiritual power attribute to reach the middle stage of the Heavenly Ascension Realm. If he continued, the difficulty would probably increase by more than 10 times. Lin Chen pushed open a door. After breaking down the last yellow spring poria mushroom in the Dragon Palace, he was about to leave when something deep inside the Dragon Palace attracted Lin Chen's attention. It was the light of an attribute ball. At the end of the hall, there seemed to be a statue of the Dragon Clan. Lin Chen squinted his eyes. On top of the towering statue, there was an orange key. Is it an attribute? No, attribute balls don't look like that. A key? Could it be used to open treasure chests? But I've never needed a key to open an attribute treasure chest. Lin Chen was very curious. He flew over and grabbed the orange key that was the size of 2 fingers. The orange key melted into Lin Chen's palm like lightning. After it disappeared, the system screen popped up. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Ultimate Skill Function Key. You can now choose to activate the system's new function, Ultimate Skill Function. Activation of this function requires 20 million talent points, 20 million Heavenly Tao points. Ultimate Skill Function. Increase a brand new special attribute. The host can collect special attribute points to create an ultimate skill. The power of the ultimate skill depends on the value and type of the special attribute points. Surekill skills were divided into 4 grades: green, blue, purple, and orange. Host, would you like to remove the required attribute points to activate? Boom! Lin Chen's eyes became increasingly bright as a large amount of information flooded into his mind. It was actually a new function, a Surekill skill. Lin Chen read a little. For example, Red Lotus Karmic Fire, Boundless Water Calamity, 10,000-mile Sandstorm, and so on. These were just the lowest grade green Surekill skills, but they already had the destructive power to threaten a 9th-stage combat emperor. There was also the green Surekill skill, 5 Thunderclaps, which could even threaten the life of a 9th-stage combat emperor. But this is 2F * King terrifying. It still requires 20 million talent points and Heavenly Tao points from Brother Chun. Lin Chen's mouth twitched a few times. Although the Surekill skill function was powerful, the attribute points required to activate it were 2F * King terrifying. He had previously destroyed the attribute points of the fake god family and killed the 2 sacred boundary messengers, and only obtained 10 million talent points and Heavenly Tao points. In addition, the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon family's assets were almost turned upside down. After deducting the consumption of the 2 patriarchs, he had only accumulated 26. 8 million talent points and 45 million Heavenly Tao points. This suddenly required such a high amount of attribute points. It was equivalent to cutting off his flesh and cutting off his arm. Just when Lin Chen was hesitating, his eyes suddenly saw a line of small words in the description of the system function. The Surekill skill is a forceful lock-on attack within a specified range or condition. The target cannot escape. Lin Chen sucked in a breath of cold air fiercely. A lock-on attack? A 100% hit. This was 2F * King fierce. The lowest grade green sure kill skill could already threaten a 9-stage combat emperor, and it was a 100% hit. What if it was a blue, purple, or even orange rank? Wouldn't that mean that he could kill a saint or a god? A sure kill skill that could threaten a saint realm expert or even a god, and it was a 100% hit. How abnormal was that? F***CK, I choose you. I confirm that I will consume the specified attribute points to activate the sure kill skill function. Lin Shun steeled his heart and pressed confirm. New information flowed into his mind, and the 2 attribute points instantly decreased by 20 million points. After activating the sure kill skill function, Lin Shun's status bar had an additional option. He could store more attribute points. Special attribute points usually appear in special areas with strong elemental energy. Damn, are my 4 clones in special areas? Lin Shun slapped his thigh and his eyes lit up. Isn't the Hell Volcano an area with strong elemental energy? After robbing the entire Red Lotus Flaming Dragon tribe, I feel that I have become more handsome. This dragon palace was the last secret palace. The remaining low-grade herbs were all stored in the warehouse that could be used by experts at any time. Lin Shun was too lazy to go there, so as not to disturb the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon tribe's old ancestor who was in seclusion. In this operation, Lin Shun had taken at least 90% of the treasures of the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon tribe. Not a single top-grade treasure was left. Not even a strand of hair was left. After today, this unlucky tribe would forever remember the fear of being dominated by this handsome guy. System, activate super-dimensional teleportation and teleport to the 4th position. In an instant, Lin Shun canceled the previous 4th position and set the position of his clones to the 4th position. A spatial light suddenly broke open above his head, and Lin Shun disappeared from the Dragon Palace. What the hell is going on? Didn't this kid's cultivation temporarily increase to the late stage of level 6? How did he enter the early stage of level 7? It's his cultivation. His cultivation has broken through, and the rate of increase has also increased. His pure strength has also reached 7 million points. Did he break through during the battle? And it's an all-round improvement? F***CK. His spiritual power has also broken through. What kind of freak is this? In a hell volcano, many Grand Elders sucked in cold breaths. They watched as Lin Shun's 4 clones broke through the limit again and again in the battle with the Patriarch. And the battle was so smooth and easy that it didn't look like a breakthrough at all. It was as simple as eating and drinking. What kind of godly cultivation method was this? Lin Shun's 3 clones could only barely hold on at first, and they even had to rely on the slowing rune to barely hold back the 2 patriarchs. But now, his 3 clones were gradually becoming evenly matched. Relying on the mystery of the infinite silent steps and the archery cover of the 3rd clone, the 3 clones actually had the tendency to fight evenly with the 2 patriarchs. This kind of terrifying growth rate made all the elders feel a lingering fear. Chapter 685. Even the 2 clan leaders were shocked by the speed of growth of the 3 clones. Indeed, this boy's 3 clones were still unable to defeat the 2 clan leaders. The strength of an early stage level 9 was like a huge chasm that was difficult to cross. However, it was also difficult for the 2 of them to defeat the 3 of them. The secret technique of freezing space to seal the dragon veins, the archery technique that was extremely fast, the attack that had the characteristic of penetrating and appearing and disappearing like ghosts, the mysterious movement technique, and all kinds of terrifying trump cards were enough for the 3 of them to deal with the 2 clan leaders. Attack! Suddenly, Mo Tianming's roar was heard. The dozen elders of the 2 clans finally showed their ruthless fighting spirit. Their gazes instantly locked onto Yin, Qianyun, and the 4th clone. Elder Mo Qian and the rest have already sent Luo Sha and Tianyin away. It's time. Get rid of this boy's clones and kill his woman. Bang! Just as he finished speaking, a spatial light beam descended from the sky and suddenly landed on the mouth of a volcano. His silver robe fluttered like snow as he crossed his arms. In his frivolous smile, there was a flash of fierceness between his brows. "Everyone, I've kept you waiting." When a young man's light laughter resounded, all the experts' expressions changed greatly. What? The fifth Lin Chun? He actually had the ability to create another clone? Let them test your strength. Come out, Azure Dragon. Roar. The dragon's roar shook the heavens, and the sky changed. A dragon's roar filled the sea. The dragon's might was vast as a dark azure dragon appeared. All the dragon experts present were dumbfounded, as if they had been struck by lightning. They were dazed on the spot. The azure dragon's tail was as blue as a sword. The azure dragon's claws were restrained. The purple phoenix's wings were burning with purple flames, and the azure dragon's feathers were as blue as jade. It seemed to come from outside the 9 prefectures, like a ghost from the heavens, shocking the heavens and earth and making the gods weep. What kind of joke is this? Azure dragon's body, purple phoenix's wings, and dragon's tail? What kind of dragon is this? This is too ridiculous. This is a combination of 3 bloodlines, but the 3 bloodlines are very pure and relatively complete. There is no mixing at all. How can there be such a creature in the world? The 2 battle circles at the top of the 2 clans separated instantly. They stared in astonishment at the Dragon Emperor that had appeared out of nowhere. As the highest echelons of a dragon race, they knew better than any other living being that it was as difficult as ascending to the heavens to fuse 2 completely different bloodlines and possess extremely high talent, not to mention 3. And this Dragon Emperor is very strange. Its bloodline was not like the mixed bloodline of 2 dragon species. It was an extremely complete and coexisting body of 3 dragon species. This was completely illogical in history. This was like pouring one type of blood into a bowl and then adding another type of blood into it. The 2 types of blood would inevitably mix to different degrees, but they would never take up a position where they each took up one side of the bowl. This Dragon Emperor belonged to the latter category that was impossible to appear. "Wait a minute, you are." The red-robed ancestor seemed to notice something and asked in a trembling voice, "You're Long Chenbua?" As soon as he said this, all the elders felt their scalps go numb. Long Chenbua? Didn't this guy have a grudge against Lin Chun? How did he end up together with Lin Chun? And this Long Chenbua was far from that level. The pure power of his dragon bloodline was comparable to that of a late 8th level combat emperor. Congratulations, you'll be rewarded for your correct answer. Under Lin Chen's command, Azure Dragon charged towards the direction of all the elders. Not good, spread out. One of the elders let out a low roar, and the profound Azure Dragon domain instantly spread out. Draconic chi filled the domain, and all of the elders' movements were slowed down by several notches. The Dragon Monarch used Azure Dragon Shadow, and the purple phoenix wings on his back flapped. His speed flashed, and he used startling dragon roaming movement technique. In an instant, the Azure Dragon tail whip fiercely smashed into that elder's body. The dragon claw shot out, and a dragon breath blade tore through the sky, slashing towards another group of peak 7th level elders. Bang! An earth-shattering shockwave exploded as the dragon breath exploded, shaking the heavens and earth. This kind of battle strength was comparable to a 9th level combat emperor. The chaotic battle started again. Talent points were consumed, and the ultimate restoration was activated. The 3 clones continued to hold back the 2 patriarchs. This time, the 4th clone joined the battle against the 2 elders. With the addition of the Dragon Emperor and a clone, even though the 2 elders were comparable to 8th level combat emperors, they were still forcefully stopped. The other 2 peak 7th level elders were responsible for escorting the 2 geniuses away. What is this kid doing? The red-robed old ancestor discovered the abnormality of the 5th Lin Chun. Before he had the chance to investigate, the beautiful woman's slender hand sealed the void, and a snow-white flame suppressed him. He could only continue to fight. At this moment, Lin Shun was protecting Yin Xinyan. While letting the clones fight, he looked around and his eyes became brighter. I've come to the right place. At this moment, the world reflected in Lin Shen's eyes was completely different. The entire Hell volcano, whether it was the ground, the void, or the crater, were all apple-sized flame bubbles. In the center of these flame bubbles, there were numbers. Some were 13, some were 15. Some of the watermelon-sized bubbles were 49 foot and 55. That's right. These bubbles were the special attributes brought by the new function. These attributes could be used to create sure kill skills. Let's go. Where are we going? Lin Shun brought Yin Xinyun and swept across the void. When they were 10 zhang away from the flame bubbles, they automatically exploded and turned into a series of attribute values that entered Lin Shen's body. Acquired special attributes. Hellfire 76 points, Hellfire 51 points, Hellfire 41 points. Hellfire attribute can be used to create a green rank sure kill skill. Karmic Fire of the Red Lotus. Required attributes. 10,000 points of Hellfire attribute, 100,000 points of Heavenly Tao. Whether it was the sky, the ground, the crater, or the magma inside the volcano, all the Hellfire bubbles were absorbed by Lin Shun. How is this possible? The energy of the Hell volcano is decreasing rapidly? While fighting with by Ruoyan, the red-robed ancestor's eyes were filled with shock. He understood the Hell volcano very well. The fire attribute energy here was extremely violent. Without a cultivation at the peak of the 7th rank, it was impossible to refine its energy. Furthermore, even the peak of the 7th rank Red Lotus Flaming Dragon could only refine a small portion of it within 100 years. The fire attribute energy here was so violent that even the Red Lotus Flaming Dragon, who was born with the fire attribute, could not withstand much of it. This kid had only been moving for a short while, but the entire Hell volcano was showing signs of calming down. Something's not right. This kid is up to something. The red-robed ancestor's aura surged. His dragon eyes revealed a monstrous killing intent. He had a premonition that Lin Shun was definitely brewing something. He definitely could not let him succeed. Collected 20,230 points of Hellfire attribute. Host, do you want to create the sure kill skill? Karmic Fire of the Red Lotus? Confirm. With the decrease of Heavenly Tao points, a new message was imprinted in his mind. Green rank sure kill skill. Karmic Fire of the Red Lotus. With the host as the center within a radius of 40,000 li, it will lock onto all life forms that are hostile to the host. Karmic Fire will descend and burn them to ashes. The sure kill skill can completely lock onto the target, making it impossible to dodge. The two sure kill skills, Karmic Fire of the Red Lotus, were imprinted in his mind. Lin Shen's lips curled up slightly. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.